Well, hello, crafty friends. Welcome to the Weekender virtual event. We are so excited to be here. I am Kim Kesty here in the Spellbinder studio, and you have found the right place. So congratulations. We're so excited. We just have to laugh about We're posting the links, we promise. Hopefully everyone has successfully found it. And I think we have, because last report I heard right before we started, we had over 600 people watching live. So that is amazing. And I'm sure those numbers will just go up as the evening goes on. But again, you're at the Weekender virtual retreat. We're going to be crafting all evening and tomorrow all day. That's going to be such a fun, long crafting day. Don't worry, we'll give you plenty of breaks and have lots of fun time to just explore, craft, snack, who knows, all the things we'll be doing. So hopefully you are all prepared and all ready to go. And you know what? If you haven't done any homework, that's okay too, because sometimes it's just fun to kick back and watch, get inspired, and then dive into the actual creating a little bit later. So you do you. That's what we say around here. And you just go wild when you do it too. Well, I am not here, of course, alone, so I'd like to do a few introductions. We have, of course, in the moderator chair tonight, and this is going to be switching off throughout the next couple days, but we are very happy to have Miss Nicole in the moderator chair tonight.
You can call me Indiana Nicole for tonight.
Oh, I like it.
If you have questions, just pop them in the chat. I'll relay them over to Kim. Make sure if you put question before the question, that'll catch my eye because there's a lot of comments going on. But yeah, I'll be your kind of voice for Kim as we go along tonight. So pop them in if you have questions.
So cool, and I just love the enthusiasm there with the little outfit there. And I saw you have, we need to go back to you for a minute. What's the little pet you have there? I'm thinking this is something fun.
This is a little cheetah. Here she is. This is so cute. We'll talk more about her, where she came from, maybe later in the show. How's that
right,
sound?
perfect. I love
so
it. And of course, I'm decked out here. I will have to admit, I'm probably going to lose the headband when I start crafting, but you know, we just have to go all out here because that's what Spellbinders does, right? So again, moderator, thank you very much. Question, love it. Let's give a shout out to Gavin back there because he's behind the controls. Yay! We're like, maybe we should get a hat for Gavin too. Well, that's okay. We're all good. But I did want to introduce kind of the genius behind the project here, the Weekender. Let's bring in Josie. So she's our main creative brain. Is this a good thing to say?
Sure.
Yes.
I'll take that.
So Josie, of course, does all of our product design, really kind of gets our graphics team headed in the right direction. We started planning this Weekender probably the week after.
I think the week after. I already asked tonight, where are we going next year?
Oh boy.
That's the big question. Where should we go?
We'll repeat that question toward the end of tomorrow. Don't be thinking about it now, people. Focus on our jungle theme.
Yeah.
This is such a fun theme.
I really had a lot of fun.
Let's talk about this.
The box and Gavin's graphics. So
the intro,
adorable.
I know. I want to play the intro like over and over again.
I
It
know.
was so
I
cute.
love it.
But again, the box, the sides, all the patterns, all of this is just kind of comes together. We really wanted to create a theme that you guys can enjoy and get behind, and obviously so many of you have. We have a lot of fun comments in the Facebook group and a
Great
lot of
projects that people have been posting.
Already?
Already. The inspiration is wild.
It's wild. Exactly. And so Josie's going to be hanging out all weekend too, and we're going to probably bring her back in and out throughout the show. But I did want to put a little face to the name.
Thanks, everybody. I will see you later or definitely tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. And one more person I want to introduce to real quick because she'll also be in and out throughout the next couple days, and that is Miss Erin, a.k.a.
Spellbinder Squad. I'm sure many of you have seen me posting and you've been talking to me back and forth in the Facebook group. Again, like Josie said, we are astounded at the unbelievable amount of creativity that has been in that group. It's been unreal. So many beautiful projects.
You're channeling your little giraffes here. I love it.
It's not quite the same jungle, but I feel like it works.
It works.
It works.
Totally works. And Miss Erin is the one who had her little bonk on her head, but she's really good. She's recovering.
I am almost fully back to normal now. So again, thanks everybody for your patience and your grace while I was recovering.
And all the nice comments too.
Yes, I gotta say,
awesome.
I've been telling my family I've never had so many well wishes before. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. I think it worked.
That's right. The healing has happened.
That was it. That was the feeling.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, Erin. Well, I'm sure we'll be seeing you throughout the next couple of days, like I said. This first little bit of the show, we just kind of want to get you guys warmed up, introduce you to our team, again, kind of talk about how you can react with a moderator. We are going to do a little bit of crafting in this first segment. Now, this is not my official class time. I'm going to start that right around 7 o'clock, and we're going to do those projects that you saw in the booklet. But let's take a look at the booklet real quick, because I know we haven't really shown that off a ton. Let me pop this guy over here. And it's not in order of projects, but I think you guys will find it very easy to follow along and kind of, get where you need to go. But we put some extra bonus cards in here. This little guy I posted in the Facebook group, just some additional details with colors and stuff if you want to eventually recreate that. That's kind of fun. And I'll probably show this card tomorrow at some point, kind of in real life. That's always fun. You see JC's class, he's going to be tomorrow, and JC's teaching live, which is really cool. I know in the past he's done some classes for us, and usually he's been pre-recording, but he's really kind of coming out of his comfort zone going live, so I'm super proud of him for that. So of course that'll be tomorrow. Those are a couple of JC's cards. Ooh, love that one. And then we have Yana. Yana is first thing in the morning. Of course, she is broadcasting from Ukraine, so she did pre-record her card class for us, but she will be in the studio via an amazing internet link, of course, and we'll be chatting with her a little bit live, but then she'll be in the chat, of course, during her pre-recorded class, so that's going to be really fun. So that's first thing in the morning, and we give Yana a first slot for Saturday morning, again, because of the time difference. I think we asked her the other day, didn't we, Nicole? I think it's like 6 p.m. for her or something when she starts, so
it's 6 p.m.
it quickly goes
8 a.m. here. Yeah.
Quickly goes very late, so first slot there, super fun. And then, of course, this is the card, the two cards actually we'll be doing tonight. So you kind of have to flip through your book. Someone asked earlier which cards we are doing, and we are doing the waterfall card first. And again, right around 7 o'clock, we'll start that. And then we'll move into this cheetah card that I made. So again, we'll be walking through both of those. And the instructions we have here, again, are mostly for you to recreate the card. We really encourage you to rely on the videos for really all the tips and tricks and all the instructions. And then feel free to take notes or do whatever you want, just to kind of get yourself all situated. And then Sarah will also be tomorrow. She pre-recorded for us, but will be live in the chat also. She has a couple of amazing cards. I've seen a lot of people already reproducing this card. I think that's really cool. And then, of course, we have Nicole Spohr. So she'll be our last live instructor on Saturday. She's going to walk you through, of course, both of these amazing projects. And last but not least, we have Jennifer, who did pre-record for us because it's awfully late on the East Coast by the time we get around to Jennifer's class tomorrow night. But she will, of course, be here in the chat, chit-chatting too. And Jennifer, this is kind of fun because her cards are always just a kind of a surprise. And even for us, they're a really fun surprise to see how she mixes and matches all the products from the kit. And it's always definitely a highlight of the weekend too. So that'll be how we're going to round out. I suppose we could pop up the schedule, Gavin. Do you happen to have that? Maybe just show the Friday and Saturday schedule. I don't really care. This graphic you guys have seen a lot in the Facebook group if you're in there, but if you haven't been in the Facebook group much, you will see that Friday you can see right now we are doing the kickoff. Check. You can check that one off. Again, I mentioned my class will start around 7. And then, of course, Saturday we start 8 a.m. Pacific. And then we go all the way through 12 hours, you guys. Is this going to be fun or what?
Fun.
Everyone's like, whoa, fun or hard or heartbreaking or what? No, I'm just kidding.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be so fun. We have classes. We have some breaks kind of in between there, again, so you can get your little chance to go get your fuel, get fueled up. And we'll have a few little filler things, too, a few little shenanigans, as we always do. Just some fun little things that we'll fill in between different classes and stuff tomorrow, too. We always got to make it fun around here. So thank you, Gavin, for that. That's super awesome. So the one thing I want to kind of start crafting with right now, because a few of you have asked, in the class booklet, you saw there's 2 products in your box that you probably didn't see a lot of use so far, except maybe a few people in the Facebook group. And that is, grab this little guy right here. I'll hold it up first, so the pack of rub-ons. I know a lot of you guys have been loving our rub-ons lately. Spellbinders has produced several for holidays and different birthday rub-ons, a few different things. So we want to do this really special pack for the weekender. So I'm going to be using this in just a few minutes to kind of get you started on, what do I do with the rub-ons? I don't know, I don't get it. Or maybe you used rub-ons 15, 20 years ago when they were super popular and you haven't really used them since. But I'm going to show you a fun card using these. And, ooh, yeah, I'm going to get started and then we'll talk a little bit more about the rub-ons as I get started crafting, because we have something fun about the rub-ons. I just will tease you and not even tell you what it is quite. But we're going to start with this one, and then I'm going to bring in a couple extra dies that we have. And by the way, the supply list link that you guys have got, where we've had that discount code for you for a while, Erin's continued to add additional products in there. So a few of these products that I'm using should be in there. But if you're worried about shopping, I suggest you just kind of kick back, chill for a while, and then let us give you some more information about
They're
some
already
possible
asking questions
shopping
about
opportunities.
Shopping, so I'm like, just let Kim do a little crafting. And
Let's
then
do a
we'll
little
talk more
crafting because I want to warm up. I want to get wild, you guys. Let's do it. Okay. Here's a couple more products that I'm going to be using. Let's just take a look down here and let's do some fun stuff. So I've got our rub-ons right here, and you guys have seen me talk about the striped right die. And this is what I used for that, again, that very first, I put the booklet right here. That very first card that I made right here, we kind of use this for website assets. This is what I cut my stripes with. Can you cut stripes yourself? Of course, you don't have to have the die. But sometimes a die that looks like this guy is just so handy and so, you know, cuts your strips perfect every single time. It's got 4 different size strips on here. And you actually get these little bonus strips in between these super narrow ones, which is kind of fun if you want to go that teeny tiny. But it's really meant to cut the 4 size strips. And again, they line up perfectly. They glue on your card perfectly. It's just a handy little die to keep in your stash. And I have to call out the name because Josie and I name a lot of the dies together. And this one we're like, stripe right, yeah. Ha, get it? Like swipe right, stripe right.
I
and
didn't
everyone's
get it.
like,
Just to be clear, I didn't
sorry,
get it.
I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
We just had our own personal giggle. But anyway, it's because it is the right stripes. So it's stripe right. So whether you get the joke or not, I don't really care. You guys can call it you can call it the Spellbinder stripe die. And actually, Josie was so sweet. She cut a bunch of these strips. Or stripes, I should say, for me already. I'm just going to pull them out, all my good colors. And we're going to use them on our card. So I won't actually even be die cutting these stripes right now, but look at these pretty colors. Does that just feel very tropical and very fun? Yes, I love it. Then I'm going to open this guy. If you haven't opened your rub-ons already, you may not even know that there's 2 packs in here. I'm sorry, 2 like panels that are different. So it's not like 2 of the same. So you're going to get a lot of fun different images. There's both of them right there. So cool. So much fun. Kind of a duplicate of the Bird of Paradise here. This little jungle background I love. So cool to put on the bottom of your card and make a border and then add additional things on top. This guy was just fun. We saw him, we're like, okay, kind of reminds us of our weekender last year where we had, or no, 2 years ago, and we had the little sunset glass. We're like, oh, how fun is that? And then, of course, this guy, a little bit reminds me of Nicole's cute little friend she has over there. And then
Yes.
a toucan, and then some little lovebirds. These are the guys I'm going to use. So what I like to do when I cut out my rub-ons is just cut away the image you want and leave everything else intact. I don't necessarily cut every single thing off I want. Just the ones I'm going to use right away. And I think I'm going to do this cute little sentiment. Bloom, bold, and thrive. So those are the 2. And again, reminder, all the videos are going to be available for a long time, at least a year, most likely longer. Our Weekender videos are still live from last year. So if you're like, oh my gosh, Kim, I wasn't ready to craft right now. This is really just to kind of get ourselves warmed up. You'd absolutely go back, watch this as many times as you want, follow along, make your own card, just have a blast.
Can you talk talk about the thickness on your stripes when you get to that point.
Like what sizes they are?
Yeah. For
Oh,
people who
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have the die, they're wanting to know the
Gotcha.
like, the
And I think it
thickness.
actually
Sorry.
says on here.
Wasn't very
Let's
clear.
see. Does it say on here? Joseph, you'll have to come over here so you
Oh.
can be on the microphone.
Wendy Vetter jumped in. Stripe right widths are 1/4 inch, a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1
1
inch.
inch.
Okay, so
Yeah,
Look at that.
normal sizes,
sound right,
nothing
Jess?
tricky.
Yeah, I already answered it for somebody.
Oh,
but-
nice,
Oh,
okay.
okay, cool.
And then I'm not sure what the little in between stripe is, but
Oh yeah, that's probably like an eighth or
eighth of an
something.
inch,
It looks
yeah.
like about half of that
yeah,
one.
I think
but
it's about an eighth.
eighth. Okay, cool. And then our other die that we're going to be using, I actually don't even need to open this one because I have one already pulled out. This is one of our favorites, and if you've been around Spellbinders at all, you know we're a big fan of the arch. We do the arch in a lot of different varieties. This was the Perfect Touch arch. Of course, we have a plain arch that's absolutely fabulous. That's a nested set. You got tons and tons and tons of arches in there. The Perfect Touch is I'm going to use tonight just because it's got this sweet little, it's not even really a stitch. It's just kind of a sweet little decorative border. You'll see that. I am going to die cut this for you. And then, of course, we have the new checked, oh, what's I can never remember the name of it. But I think it's sold out right now anyway.
Yeah,
The cute, let's not talk about that. Cute little check border, but it's absolutely on reorder,
Reorder,
so
yep.
you guys can hit a notify me button. But if you just type arches in our search bar, you're going to find all kinds of fun things. But this is called the Perfect Touch arches. So I'll be using that.
So just to be clear, the none of the cards that the rest of the team are doing use the rub-ons, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anyone, in the booklet, I think probably most of our instructors lean toward the real more intricate dies and stuff, kind of knowing that the rub-ons are more simple, but they absolutely are perfect for that simple, quick and easy card that you need. So yeah, you don't have to worry about like saving rub-ons or like, oh, I don't want to use it because, JC might use it later on.
Yeah.
No, nobody, as far as our class instructors have used them. So no worries.
Okay.
You guys can just go for it. All right, so rub-ons. We've got this super highly technical tool right here. That's a popsicle stick. You guys can probably use, if this comes with a rub-on, so you have a tool automatically at your disposal, but you also could use, some other type of tools if you have something that works better, maybe something with a little ball on the end. But I found the popsicle stick works pretty darn good. So what I have here is classic white cardstock. Nothing fancy about this guy. And then the rub-ons work by peeling away the top layer. So it almost becomes almost looks like a clear sticker. There's the back of it. So just be a little gentle once you peel this away. You don't want to set this down on plastic or acetate or paper, except if you want it on acetate. That's a really cool look, by the way. That would be kind of fun. I don't know if I'll have time to demo tomorrow, but it would be pretty cool to do this on acetate. It works beautifully. But once you kind of put it down, and like I said, I'm going to die cut the arch, so I just kind of want to give myself a little bit of room around the edges. Then it almost kind of tacks itself down. It's pretty cool. And then I know Josie's tip. I'm going to use the booklet. She says, grab a magazine, grab something that's got just a tiny bit of give to it underneath. It doesn't have to be like necessarily a foam pad or anything like that, but something that's a little bit softer than your hard desk or your glass mat. I think that just helps the rub-on go a little quicker and easier even. So I usually use a magazine that I have hanging around. Probably a Scrapbook of Cards magazine. We always get those in the office. And then I'm just using kind of just the edge. I'm going at, 45-degree angle maybe. It doesn't really matter, but kind of circular. I don't want to do a really heavy just scratch, scratch, scratch. I kind of want to just press this image overall into the whole area. Just take your time, be gentle. The rub-ons are very creamy, very, very well done. Hero Arts really started us on our rub-on journey because they've had a great manufacturer. They've done them for years and years. And then when Hero Arts became part of our Spellbinders family, all of a sudden we had great access to some amazing manufacturers. So now I'm going to peel back the end of the top plastic, and I'm going to just kind of gently pull away. and go, okay, I didn't quite get the tip of that leaf, so I'll press a little harder. So kind of gently pull and kind of check as you go. If something feels like it's too tight, you know, rub a little bit more. It kind of tends to pop off once you get it to a certain point. So I'm peeling back gently, kind of making sure maybe this flower or this leaf tip, make sure that goes down. Yes, there we go. I'm just being real slow and careful because I don't want to like lead you guys wrong. Okay, that feels pretty good. My little birdies are coming to life here. Like I said, once you get started, it kind of tends to just go pretty easy. Make sure you got the tip of the branch. I don't want my little leaves not to have their ends, or my bird feathers. All right, that's feeling pretty good. Ooh la la. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so your sheet should be pretty clean. It's nothing, no little ink or image left on there. It's all transferred really pretty to my paper. So love, 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 and you shouldn't have to burnish it or anything. I mean, once it's on there pretty good, so don't really have to mess with it too much. I'm gonna grab my die. So this is the size arch die I'm going to use. So I'm just gonna kind of use it as a little template and just make sure that I kind of get my sentiment in the right place. So I think I want it fairly close to my birds. Like I don't want it too low. So I'll kind of have my L be close to the leaf here. So again, you peel back the backer. And this is particularly important when you do the sentiments because they do have a little bit more delicate lines. Like, be pretty sure where you want to drop it before you do. You know, hold it away from the paper, you know, make sure it's up, you know, left and right, crooked, straight, you know, get it kind of just where you want it. I'm looking here, I want it maybe a little bit lower. Pretty centered, maybe this way a little bit. Okay, so once you kind of are happy, then put it down, because honestly, once you put it down, it's a little bit tricky to pick it back up again. So just a little reminder. And then again, because these lines are a little bit finer on these sentiments, some of them, you know, like maybe the very end of the L or something, just again, take your time and make sure you get them all nicely pressed on there. And Nicole, if there's any like major question right now, you can definitely holler.
So I'm wondering, well, I think I know the answer, but I'm wondering if we have time to show it. They're asking about how the rub-ons come across darker cardstock or colored cardstock. So they are pretty translucent, right?
Yeah, they've got a translucence to them. We actually thought about creating this card on like a chiffon, like one of the really light colors. And that probably would have been really pretty, but we thought, you know, because the colors are so vivid in this set, I think it would be so pretty to just kind of leave them on the white and let them speak. But
I'll do one in a darker color and we can show it.
okay, Josie's going to try one in a darker. Maybe one of the more foliage ones would be cool in a little bit darker color, but yeah, that would be probably something to experiment with.
And then the other question that we're getting, they're jumping the gun, Kim.
Uh-oh.
Like, are you gonna make rub-ons more rub-ons available?
Let's talk about that, Nicole. What should we do? I'm going to keep working on my sentiment here, and you can talk to me about, do you think we have any extra rub-ons hanging around?
We actually do. And I have to be honest with you guys, I was told that we had rub-ons, and I did not believe it. So last night, Kim knows this, I went to the warehouse myself and checked, and sure enough, we do have a few hundred left. Woo! So they are available as of now. Erin made those live about a half an hour ago, and even better,
Ooh.
We've extended your show special to include, I'm going to say, almost all the things. So all Spellbinders and Hero Arts products that are on the Spellbinders site, we're going to extend that 20% off to pretty much everything. So it's a pretty big deal.
Site-wide, pretty much?
Never do this. It's
Yikes.
only tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. And importantly, you have to enter your code in your cart. So like, don't wait until you click through. Like in your cart, there'll be a spot to put discount code. Type it in. Gavin, you want to pop the code up super quick for me?
Yeah, let's see if we can pop that up. There it
code
is.
We're really shaking it up, you guys.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
It's a wild one. It's
It's a wild one.
Weekender is the code. Now, there is a lot of terms and conditions around this. Like, people say, can I add my club discount? There's no stacking. There's no stacking of any discounts. So if you're better off getting the 25 off 125, which I think is running on the site now, go with that.
Oh, yeah.
If you're better off with this, go with that. Well, you wouldn't be better off with your club discount no matter what. So go with this. But that you can't stack discounts, I guess is the point.
You can't get 20% off plus your
15%
club
or
or something.
10%.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah. So the system cannot handle all of that, but it can handle this. So this runs from now. Oh, the other thing too.
I know. I see something about
Yeah.
free shipping. What?
So normally our free shipping threshold is 100, but we were feeling generous. So any orders,
Because we love you guys.
you guys are like our diehards, our wild, crazy scrappers. I love it. So so you type in that code. It can be used multiple times over the weekend as well. And yes, there are some rub-ons available in there too. So hopefully that answers.
That's exciting. I want to bring my rub-on pack back in, and we can show the discount code again tonight, but you guys could screenshot that or whatever. So this SKU up here, maybe we'll get kind of close, Gavin. See if we can focus. And you have your packaging in your box, but just in case you're like, oh, I don't have it handy right here. SCSR-012. So this is our 12th rub-on we've made. So that's the SCSR-012. And again, we have several hundred. We don't only have 50. We don't only have 100. So don't panic too much. But if you do love the rub-ons and you like the idea of the quick and easy card, you may want to pick up an extra pack. That's so cool. And 20% off. Gotta love it. All right, I feel like I've rubbed this for a while. Let's see. Let's do the little peel and reveal. I think it's coming off nicely. Yes. Okay. Love it, love it. Very pretty. And talk about an easy way to send them. And I know I sat there and monkeyed with it for a while, but just want to make sure it was absolutely perfect. But again, no stamping, no nothing. You really do not need anything to make a really pretty card. And if you trimmed this just in a square and matted it maybe with, again, a soft peach or a soft chiffon color, you don't even have to die cut. You wouldn't even necessarily have to do that even. But I'm going to do it because, you know, die cutting's our jam. It's our thing. All right, so I got my Best Ever Craft tape. Again, be a little bit careful if you're using Best Ever Craft tape. You don't want to tape over your actual rub-on image because I would not 100% guarantee that it wouldn't pop off. So I'm just going to go on the more like the outside edges here. But I do want my arch to be, you know, somewhat straight in relation to my sentiment, and I think that looks pretty good. By the way, I think we need to do a quick front shot, and then I'll show this guy again. But am I like not ready for the weekender or what? Josie found this. Those of you who are Target dollar spot shoppers, give us a shout out if you've seen this in the summer section. Not sponsored by Target. We're not getting a kickback from Target, but it is so cute. I'll put it here so we can see the down camera too, so you can see how cute it is in real life. Look, he's so chubby and cute. So I have my tools in there for today, but anyway. We got to keep ourselves amused, you know, around here. All right, so let me bring in my good old Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And look at this. Ooh, fresh cutting plates. I got all the freshies for this event. It'll be kind of fun to see how marked up they get by the end of the event. And I do a lot of times like to keep one of my cutting plates clean, so I'll kind of turn this around. Tend to cut into one plate for a long time and use the top plate just for a top plate for a while, and that tends to let my plates last a little bit longer. Oh, look at that. Popped right out. So pretty, that little edge. Do we love it? Yes, we do. Die over here. So again, so cute. And would you have to put a striped background on this card? again, no, if you want to keep it super simple, this would be just adorable, just popped up. But since I have those cute stripes, I was kind of digging the other card we did. We're going to go ahead and glue some stripes on.
Okay, the best way to get to your rub-ons. I'm seeing some questions.
Yes, let's answer them. I'm just going to be gluing and we can chit chat while you're doing
Let me say it, and then let me make sure it actually works.
Okay.
So, if you're on your Weekender page, which you're not because you're watching this, but if you have a separate tab, and you can go to your spellbinders.com page is the Weekender, where all the event information was at, and you click on the supply list there. Allegedly the rub-ons, yep, there they are. They're right there.
Oh,
so that is
nice.
I think it's like almost a secret little way, a little
It's
back
your
door.
secret landing page. And I think
So-
you need the code to get into that page, right?
You do. So to get into that page is Go Wild. Many of you, I'm sure, have been in and out of there all week, as I have.
Yep.
But what's wonderful about that page, when you go to the supply list, yes, rub-ons are listed first, but the Stripe Bright dye that Kim's using right now is listed there as
Oh,
well,
nice.
as well as some other things that Kim's going to be using on and off throughout the weekend. So
We try to make it easy for you, in other words. Yes?
yes. Erin's texting me as I'm sitting here, so I cannot multitask. And then we're checking on, some of you have said that it doesn't work on cardstock, so we're trying to figure out why that is. So Erin's looking at that right now.
Oh,
So, hold
cardstock's not already on sale, I don't think right now, but
I don't know. I think so.
we'll find out for you guys.
We will find out.
You guys, you see me just gluing stripes on here, just kind of picking them up. I obviously don't want to do two of the same exact color next to each other, but how fun is this? And then you could do a skinny. I like to do a couple wider and then throw a skinny every now and then. And I'm letting these hang off my cardstock base. This is a folded cardstock. I didn't really show that. So this is actually my card front, so I'm just gluing away.
Also reiterating that yes, everything in this kit, we made a change this time, that everything in the kit
Oh.
is exclusive to the kit and can
That's
only be
right.
bought in the kit. I keep
I've-
saying that with a little bit of apprehension because I'm like, there's no gems or anything in here, right?
There's just an exclusive pack of gems. No.
Oh, there's even exclusive. That
Yeah,
was even exclusive.
those are even
Cool, cool.
exclusive, yeah.
It's been so long since you guys designed this. I can't remember everything.
So we said it's been like a year in the making, folks.
Can you talk about the colors? Did you already talk about the colors as you put
I
it
have
down?
not talked about the colors. Let's talk about the colors. I just really picked out, and honestly, Josie picked these out. They kind of pick up the shades of the Lovebird, but from the top, from what I've done right here, we have Coral. And I can list these in the Facebook group later too, you know, if you don't want to jot them down right now. But we have Coral and Sicily, which of course is in our peach family. And then we have Saffron and Beeswax. Those are my two yellows. My two greens are Rainforest and Peridot. This is Coral again. Then I popped in a Dahlia. Ooh, I got a little wild. So the Dahlia is a little brighter pink, but look, it's all on the cheeks and everything here. Then I might come back with, let's do another Rainforest. Might about finish me off. Ooh. I'll do a skinnier one and then add one more strip. I'm okay with having something hang off the bottom because I can always trim it. What are we missing? Sicily. Yes. Okay. It looks like I'm going to have a hair of white cardstock showing at the bottom, but I'm going to trim it off. And you can see that I almost got my stripes straight. No, I pretty much did, but it's a tiny bit of white showing. And I'll tell you, one of the best ways, actually, Josie, you know what? I took out my grand shear, my pro shears. Oh, do you mind grabbing them? While she grabs my pro shears, that's my favorite way to cut the stripes, the extra stripes off. I'm going to show you what Josie did when she was busy over there behind the scenes. She did 2 rub-ons on darker colors. How fantastic is that? So they definitely work. You are seeing a little translucence here. You're seeing a little bit of that color. This is Merlot. So it's definitely one of our darker reds. But it still shows up pretty. And this one I love. I think that's so pretty. It almost looks like a little night sky in the jungle or whatever. So cool. So, yeah, I think they show up nice.
Other colors. We don't always use black for the sentiments for the rub-ons.
True, true.
Sometimes
yeah,
we'll
our
do-
sentiments aren't always black, and we have some holiday packs coming up. And as a matter of fact, you'll probably see those popping around in July. that have some different colored sentiments like blue and green, and that's really fun. The rub-ons give us a lot of opportunity to just do fun things. And maybe more intricate designs, you know, that we can't necessarily translate into a die. But the best way to trim this is just popping this card over and just running those pro shears right along the edge. Best scissors ever. 20% off. I want to be like an infomercial now. But they are really, really good. Sharp. And if you all have pro shears, you got to tell me the tricky ways that you keep them away from your family. Do you like hide them? Do you tie a ribbon on them? Do you put like a, what are those things? Those iPhone things? Tags? What are they called? Air tags?
Air tag.
Maybe it's an air tag. Where's my scissors? Nobody better touch my scissors. Even though they're used for paper, but, you know, my mom always had this back in the day for fabric. She would always be like, don't touch my fabric scissors. Eek. All right, so I'm going to add one more thing before I put this panel on. I feel like we're probably got to get rolling to my class pretty quick, but I've got this Raven Splatter Effects. Now, this is really cool. I'm going to use green tomorrow, the green that we have in our birthday box. I'll talk about that tomorrow. But this is a splatter effect, and it's really cool if you haven't ever seen these before. We also have them in a really pretty kind of sparkle crystal color. We have black, we have blue, blueberry pop, and we have a citrus color too that's really cool. And probably new ones coming, who knows? But this Raven one I kind of like just because it gives that, I don't know, maybe great contrast that black always gives. Always when you have black on a project, it makes your other colors pop even more. So I'm gently kind of shaking it. There is a little metallic ball in here. I don't know if we're hearing it quite yet, but there's a tiny bit of almost like, it's not really sparkle in here, but like enamel in this that makes this product really stand out on your card base. Super cool. Oh, there you go. You guys hear that? I'll put it by the microphone. Chicka, chicka, chicka. You're like, no, I can't hear that, Kim, but maybe you can. I'm just going to slip this underneath so I don't splatter too much of my background. But when you open it, it looks like a little nail polish. It looks like it's got the little brush for the nail polish, and this is like the perfect amount of product on this applicator now. So that when I tap the cap and go to my project, it's just going to give little black flicks of ink. It's kind of a, I guess it would be called ink, or maybe like a watercolor. It's a water-based product. It does have that little bit of enamel, and I think that's what gives it a really nice little bit of dimension, then also that really true, dark, fantastic black. So again, not too much. Allows you to just apply the perfect amount you want, and just love it. All right, now of course this is going to have to dry a little bit. I'm going to show you the one that Josie actually made earlier. She did her stripes a little bit more even than I, just 2 sizes of stripes here. Love it, love the bigger stripes. A little bit more reminiscent of that toucan card I had in the booklet. And of course, here's her cute little bird. So we're gonna do like 2 for 1 right now. I'm gonna do this one without the little splatters. And then let mine dry for a minute or so. So I've got some foam adhesive. I always like to have a little bit of a pop on my card. If you were going to mail this or pop it in the mail, you might not want to put the foam adhesive. But
that is a nice
sometimes
benefit.
I like a little lift.
That's a nice benefit to the rub-ons is that they are nice and flat.
They're very flat. Yes,
So-
yes. You could do it again, quick and easy card, but also a very flat card that still looks super impressive and very, very easy to pop in the mail. For sure. All right, make sure that my card's not upside down. Nope. So this little guy would just kind of center. And that's very sweet, isn't it? Pulls out all those colors nicely. Again, same color stripes I have here, but just a little bit different vibe. But between the smaller stripes and the black splatter, now I've got a little bit busier card. But it's all good. Alright, so I got my strips here. By the way, favorite adhesive strips. You'll see me probably using these a lot this weekend. I like the strips. The squares I'm digging too, but for some reason I'm into my strips. These thicker ones, and then we have really nice narrow ones too that I'll be actually using in a few minutes. And sometimes I cut them too. Do you guys do this? Do you like cut your foam squares? Even our square ones, I find myself cutting in half or in quarters. And the person that I've never seen use as much adhesive on their card, Nicole, do you know who I'm talking about?
Yana?
Yana!
Here's my guess is that she's shipping them from the Ukraine, so she wants to make sure they stay together.
I never thought about
That's what I
that. She uses so much foam tape on her cards. I love it. I think it's so great. Okay, then just gotta make sure it's straight. Looks pretty straight. I'm still not touching the black because I don't think it's completely dry, but I think we're kind of there. This is so fun. These cards do look different. I don't know. And this is sentiments over a little bit. I don't know that way. But the little lovebirds, so cute. And you guys also, I'm gonna kind of fan this one a little bit. When you guys check out that, and Nicole, I think you can verify, but when you check out the site where the supply lists are, we have a bunch of the Cheerful Chirps products on.
We do.
And one of them is these little lovebirds. They're so cute. And so Josie designed a die that's kind of reflective of this guy. Obviously, it's a little bit more simple because it is a die, but I'll show you more of the Cheerful Chirps collection tomorrow, too, just for fun, because I think it matches so well with both of these. All right, so let's come back to forward-facing camera because I want you guys to stretch. I want you guys to feel like, okay, got a little crafting, got a little warmed up, we're kind of ready to go. We are going to kind of clear the table here for a second, answer any questions you have, and then we'll kind of get set up for my card class that's starting. And later on when we have the actual videos completed after the weekend, a few of you have requested that we come back and do like timestamps for the different classes, and we absolutely will do that once we get, I think YouTube takes a little bit for it to load in there, get everything set up, get, you know, all the pre-recorded things done. Then we'll put timestamps for each of the classes. So, if, for example, my class, if it starts at 7, may not be exactly at 7, but when you guys have that timestamp, you'll be able to go back and find the exact class you want right away. So, very cool. Just wanted to remind you of that. All right, get this guys tidied up. Throw our dies in here, our Stripe Bright dies. And Josie's going to come be my good helper. And thank you. Let that black dry. I think it's almost dry. It actually dries pretty fast, but not quite that quick. It's dry. Hey, it's dry.
Girls, can I do for you?
Oh, you want to just grab those and your little rub-ons? I think I'm set. Otherwise, I think I've got all my other class products. Let me show you a couple extra things that I'll be using for my class. We did have these listed in the supply list, but the two things that you'll want to grab out to have kind of handy for this first card, and by the way, our first card is my waterfall card. Oh, it's so pretty. It was so fun to make. And thank you so much for those of you who did your homework. That was awesome. We are going to do a little die cutting in class tonight just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And yes, I did have a little die cutting that wasn't homework, so we'll do that together. But a couple of the supplies you'll want to grab kind of as we go along. You'll need some kind of a light teal ink. This is Hero Arts Pool Party. Very pretty. You can kind of see the color. I'm sure there's a distress ink that's probably quite similar, or some other brands that you want, but that's kind of the color we're going to be using. And it's very, very light. It's really just for a little bit of this water. And then I do have a kind of a granite, which is I would say medium gray. And we're going to use that to just kind of shade in a few of these rocks. If you don't want to ink, you absolutely can skip that step. I know like Yana and Nicole have really used inking as a main technique in their class. That's really not the case with my card. I think if you did this card without the inking, it would be 100% perfectly fine. So again, just kind of give yourself permission to do the inking, not do the inking. I kind of like the idea. I don't know who started this, if it was when I've taught for scrapbooking cards or not, but a lot of people say, you know what, my first card is my practice card. This is my one where I just kind of experiment, see how all the pieces go together. It may turn out perfect. It may not be 100% perfect, and that's okay. It's your practice card. It's your one where you're learning. And that's really what we want this weekend to be all about. Trying something new, learning something, maybe pushing yourself outside the boundary a little bit. But die cutting, really, it's all about coloring with paper, folks. You know, it's really just taking that beautiful cardstock and just creating your own little masterpieces. So, again, give yourself permission to create your cards your way. All right. So I've got some homework here. I'm going to grab my booklet real quick. Just because there's a couple measurements in here that we're going to start with. So again, this is our instruction. This very first number 1 step is the one we're going to do real quick first, just kind of cutting these background pieces. But I've got my homework kind of laid out here, and don't worry, I'll kind of walk you through how the rocks all go on the card. We're going to cut the little outlines for them first, but never fear, we will go through each and every little piece. All right, so the first 2 panels we're going to cut, again, according to the instructions. We're going to kind of cover our card base. So we're going to do Rainforest, and we're going to cut a panel of Breeze. Let me reach down for my trimmer here. And these are both, I have these pre-cut to A2 panels. I do this a lot. In fact, maybe I'll have to show you tomorrow my little bin of how I keep my cardstock scraps. I mostly cut them down to this A2 size. Do I keep 8.5 by 11? Of course, yes. I keep those in my, on my shelf as full sheets of paper, and 12 by 12. But when I'm kind of wanting this quick and easy go-to grab something to make a card, I'd like to reach for these A2 panels. So this is 1/4 of an 8.5 by 11. So if you cut this guy in half, you're going to have a 5.5 inch panel, and then you cut it in half again, and you're going to have 4.25 by 5.5, and that's an A2. I saw some people asking in the group, and I was like, it's not a crazy question because we refer to something as A2, but we don't always tell you what that means. So again, these are already 4.25 wide. So when I look at my instructions and I say I need a 3.25 inch panel, I know it's already 4.25 wide. So there's the top of my card. I'm going to save this piece to do my stamping on. So don't let that go too far. Put it over here. And then the bottom, which is kind of becomes the base of our water, the bottom of our waterfall, we want this at 2.25. And really a lot of the stuff between these 2 panels is going to get covered up because we're going to add so much fun stuff on top, but I think that's going to get us pretty good. I've got some of my other cardstocks, and I'll walk you through these colors as we go, but I've got my card base tucked under here. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this. I have a top folding card base, so again, this is an A2 card. And for a top folding card, I really start out with half of an 8.5 by 11. So this is 11 inches tall and then 4.25 wide, which of course, when we fold it in half, becomes 5.5 inches. Because last I heard, 5.5 was half of 11. Wait, is it? Yeah.
Math hasn't changed. You're good.
Math hasn't changed.
So I have to tell you a comment that I just love so much.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's from Marta Costigan. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. But she said, this kit is taking me out of my comfort zone, and I love it.
Oh, that's what we want. Yay! Mm-hmm. And sometimes people, we've had this with past weekenders too. They're like, I wasn't exactly sure I liked XYZ die, like perhaps one die out of the kit. And then once they used it and started creating with it, then it kind of got flipped 180, and all of a sudden it's like, that's actually my favorite die. The one I didn't think I would like the most ended up being their favorite. I think that's really fun. Okay, so I just used wet glue. You could absolutely use tape runner or whatever you want, but I've just basically got the background of my card. If I put this guy next to it, you can kind of see where we're going. And again, a lot of this blue gets covered up, but you just see a little bit here at the bottom. And a lot of this green gets covered up in the middle, but again, there's the top of our card. So pretty easy peasy, I think, adding those 2 panels. And now we're going to switch to some die cutting. I'll put this to the side. Try not to lose it, Kim. All right, so we've got homework, and we've got some rocks. I know a lot of you were kind of like, oh, I don't know the rocks. By the way, shout out to our team for those great assembly guides, right? We have those on the Facebook page, but I think they're also available on that landing page we've been talking about, the Weekender landing page. So these guides are really great. You can print them out. They're in a PDF form, so they're easily printable. And they're going to kind of walk you through how to adhere things. Now, Kim's card has her rocks perhaps a little bit different than the PDF guide, but there's no right or wrong way to put rocks, I don't think. So, I mean, I'm going to kind of walk you through what makes sense. This background piece right here is kind of key to just creating the back of my waterfall. On some cards, this would probably maybe be blue because it would be water, and then the waterfall comes down the middle. But I chose to really kind of make it look almost more like a grotto type of effect or something. So that's why my background piece here is the anchor or the darker gray. But again, I kind of have my rocks tucked in here. These top two pieces, I'm just going to leave them on the top of my tray right now, but these don't have any markings on them. If you guys saw these dies, pull my original set out here. By the way, shout out to Craft Stacks. I love them for keeping me so organized. So these two kind of pieces right here, which are the kind of the top of your cliff, let's say, they don't have any extra markings on them. So, gosh, excuse me. So those we don't need right away. But all the rest of these guys kind of have, you'll see that they have scored embossed lines on them. Maybe I'll have Gavin try to come close, or maybe I'll tilt it a little bit. Oh yeah, there, we can see them. These are the guides to put the accents on your rocks. So super easy, super fun, not that complicated. It's just a matter of kind of puzzle piecing them together. So I'll start with my anchor rocks or my dark gray rocks, and I really just flipped the colors. If I have an anchor rock like these, then I simply took the lighter color fog and cut the accents for them. So not too difficult. You know, I just got to see which goes with which. This is where the guide is helpful, guys. Let's see. This looks like it fits. Oh my gosh, these magnets are strong. Alright, I'm like struggling. Magnets are great. They hold your die in place. Just a little bit hard to pick off. So this little guy right here is not one of these. Okay, that's for my darker gray. I'm going to cut darker gray. I'm going to slide these off the magnet. This is such a good idea to have them on the magnet, but not when I'm stealthily trying to pick them up. Excuse me one second, guys. I'll just have to grab a tissue. It's a known fact that every time I come in the studio, and I think maybe it's just dusty in here, I don't know. No shade on Gavin over there, because he is so good about cleaning and vacuuming in here, but we have a lot of like soundproofing blankets around here, and I think they just get dusty. I get in here and I start sneezing, and jeez, I still can't pick them. Where's my picker upper? We have this great new tool set. Have you guys picked up our new tool set yet? By the way, such great things. I'm going to be using this one a lot. This is our wax tip. Will it pick up a die? I don't know. You got to be gentle with it. Yeah, it kind of picks them up. But
Where's your magnetic pickup
my
tool?
problem is I have no nails.
Oh my gosh, you're fine.
I know, it's funny. This has got to be this one, right? Yes! Found the match. Okay, so this guy we actually cut out twice. This rock right here, if you saw in the homework instructions, we cut it twice. So I found the matching die. It really wasn't that difficult. I think I'm just distracted right now. So we're going to go ahead and cut this one twice. And again, everything that's fog, I cut an anchor accent. Everything that's anchor colored or the darker gray, I cut a fog accent. So we're just switching it. You might ask, Kim, why didn't you do all your rocks one color and all the accents the same color? Because I don't know, that would just be too easy. I wanted to be nature, realistic, you know? one. Cut one more. And again, your assembly guide kind of has these, I believe they're lettered. I think they're lettered like ABC, and then it kind of shows you which matches up. But do I have that guide in front of me? No, I don't. I do know we need 2 of those.
See,
So these are the 2 for the short squatty rocks. Now my pickup tool will work good. Boom. We're going to glue that on there. So these rocks are the same. Yes, Miss Nicole?
Oh, I just saw someone else say that their favorite part of the handicraft tool set is the nudger.
Oh, I do like the nudger.
Which when you guys told me you wanted a nudger, I'm like, are you for real? And I'm hearing people say, I love the nudger. So what do I know?
If you guys want to know what we're talking about, this is the nudger. So it's got a silicone tip on it, and it's really great for stamping. I'll kind of bring it out when I'm stamping. But I also love it for when we do better press. And when you're doing better press, you need to like kind of just move the plate a little bit instead of moving it with your finger and probably getting ink on your finger. The little nudger is great for that. So it's just for nudging stuff around, or maybe it's just nudging this die cut around, you know, over here. So it's a nudger. That's the perfect name for it. So I'm glad you guys like it. All right, so this funny squiggly one is going to be for one of my rocks. This one that almost looks like, what does it look like? Letter J. Maybe that's one that goes for that rock. And then we've got kind of a nice, just little striation here. Oh, Nicole's always teasing me about my vocabulary. But is this the proper name for something that's got a little stripe on a rock? Striation? Am I saying that right?
Straight.
I need my vocab girls to back me up. I don't think there's an extra R. I think it's striation.
Striations refers to a series of linear marks, parallel lines, scratches, grooves, or bands on a surface.
Yes.
Striations. Yes.
Striation.
Very good job.
All right. So we've got our little striations on, I think, all of our anchor rocks here. Again, so cool to have those embossed lines that just help you line it all up. So, got 4 of those little cuties. Now I need to do the switcheroni and bring in my darker cardstock because my 3 light gray rocks here need a dark striation. I already figured out that matches 1. And this guy must match the other one. Very good, very good. And then my 2 smallest ones I haven't used must match these little guys, and they do. So again, if this feels like it's like going too fast or you're trying to keep up, these are 4 of the dies we haven't cut yet. These are all for our light gray rocks. So I'll kind of let you guys take a peek at that. And again, those assembly guides are going to be really cool to help you out if you want to have it, you know, handy, or again, if you're coming back later and creating the card. Those really are going to be kind of key for you. Sometimes I would tape these down, but I feel like since my cutting plate is so fresh and flat, I don't necessarily have to do that, so I'm going to be risky. I'm not much of a taper. Nicole and I have talked about this. We're kind of more like, go wild.
Yes, Josie's a
Risky.
taper, and we're not tapers. And we're like, ah, we're not taping. And then she's like, yeah, how many times do you have to cut that? I'm like, oh,
We're like,
true.
oh, oops.
Sometimes it moves. Oh, this is cute. So
Sometimes they pop right out.
Cat Card said, I need a set of cards as a gift for my grandson's pre-K teacher. She loves getting handmade cards. Going to do this weekender set for her. Don't you love it when you have those friends that appreciate the handmade card?
Yes, that actually will not just look at it and chuck it in the bin.
Yes. That's my grandma for me. She keeps all my cards.
Oh, that's so cute. All right, so I think we got our little rocks happening here. And again, love my little craft stack so I can keep everything organized. We're going to pause here and glue our rocks together. So again, if you're still die cutting, that might give you just a little few minutes to catch up. Rocks, 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 rocks. And it really does bring the card to life when you have such a variety, you know, like, did we need to have this many different rocks? Well, I don't know, but sure makes the card look fantastic.
I think this was probably one of the most challenging dies
Yes,
Yeah,
this
to
waterfall
design.
die for sure was
to make a realistic waterfall.
the most, yeah. And I love that JC is going to be using it again tomorrow in a totally different way. So I think that's so fun to see different people's perspectives and how it all comes together. Now these are going to be pretty easy to glue on because again, since I have half one color and half the other color, they're pretty easy to match up now. I like to put my glue on the back of the die cut versus on the piece I'm gluing to.
Kim, I missed it. Are you ink blending on the rocks?
After I put them together, I will do some ink blending,
Okay,
yes. I'm adhering them all together first. And then I'm going to come back and just do fairly light ink blending, but yeah, a little bit. I suppose if you wanted a certain special look, you could maybe ink blend just the striations on their own, but I did it after.
You're just showing off now.
Look at these rocks coming together. I mean, it is about the flowers and the vines, but to me, it's the rocks and the water that make this die set just so fab. And gosh, shout out to all of you who have been using this waterfall die set in so many fun, creative ways. We saw it today on a scrapbook page. That was so cool. So yes, we've heard a very sad rumor that sometimes scrapbookers don't like die cutting, but I don't think that's really true anymore. So if you're a scrapbooker, give us a shout out that you do like die cutting, because I love to hear that. I could just hear Erin in the back laughing. I'm like, what are you up to, girl?
Who is she talking to out there?
Probably Amy.
Oh yeah, Amy's out there. So
Got
what
all of our
colors are the
helpers
rocks?
at this event. It's so cool.
Oh no.
I don't know if the mic's picking up, but you guys can definitely hear some.
I think
glad
there's some
everyone's having a good time.
Shenanigans, perhaps.
Oh dear.
Perhaps some shenanigans.
I don't know.
Well, while we're talking about waterfalls,
Yes.
let's play a little trivia. No,
Oh.
there's no prizes. This is just for fun.
Just for fun.
we
We do
kind
things
of,
just for fun.
Yeah, we've kind of steered clear away from the giveaways during the event because not everyone's able to watch live because they're all over the world. So we
True.
do our giveaways kind of before the event. I know Erin did a bunch the last couple weeks, and we'll probably do some next week as well. But for now, it's just for fun. So, I mean, come on. We can start with a super easy one because, come on. What famous waterfall sits on the border of the U.S. and Canada? It's also where my in-laws had their honeymoon. Isn't that cute?
I feel like it's kind of a honeymoon spot.
Yes, I've heard. I've never been. I've never personally been.
Oh.
Have you been?
I have.
You
A
have.
few times.
Interesting.
It's pretty amazing.
Wait, you have, Gavin, or you haven't? Gavin, you're from there.
Grew up in that area and didn't,
Oh my
never
gosh.
gone.
It's the other side of the state,
Yeah.
though.
It is. I know.
Okay, guys, I have my sticky mat right here. You don't have to have a sticky mat, but if you have something that kind of holds your die cuts in place, this makes it super easy to ink blend really, really fast. But otherwise, you can take, each individual one, and you can even hold it in your hand or do whatever you want. But what I've got is that granite ink that I was showing you before. I did not ink blend this back piece, by the way. I just ink blended my rocks. So you can see all my rocks are put together here. And then I'm just going to take some granite ink and just pretty lightly, honestly, just kind of come around. And I thought these two grays are pretty high contrast, the fog and the anchor. Don't get Josie started because she's been wanting an in-between gray. I just felt like this just kind of blended the two colors a little bit. Am I doing anything fancy? No. I'm just kind of, I've got our little kind of medium blending brush here, and I'm just kind of going over. I tend to do probably a little bit more on the top edges of the rocks, you know, just because I think that's kind of what shows. But honestly, there's a lot of vines and flowers that go on top of these, so if your inking's not perfect, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Just kind of go in circular motion. You can tap off ink if you feel like there's too much. I feel like mine's pretty good. And then just take your time, do your little blending. Makes it pretty cool. I suppose, I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose if you use some sort of reactive ink, I think this granite is not reactive ink. This is a core ink. This blue is a reactive ink, which means you could kind of spritz it after and you'd probably get even more of a watery look. Ooh, maybe I'll try that. But if you use like a distress ink or distress oxide, it might be kind of cool to do a couple little splashes of, you know, a spritzer on here. Might be cool. All right. I'm going to put all my rocks in my bin. We're just going to kind of, I mean, they dry pretty fast. We're going to let them dry for a second. And then we're going to die cut some sunset colors. That sounds fun.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Gosh, the ink really does bring the die cuts to life.
It does. It really
It's just
does.
one of
And
those-
you're going to really get much more of an expert inking technique, both with Yana and Nicole tomorrow for sure. They're really good at it. I'm just, I would say average. But it is really cool. I mean, it makes them just yum yum. All right, so you've got a couple of cloud dies in your kit. Sorry, in your die set. I don't think I showed you the actual die in the packaging, did I? Probably not. So here's a brand new one from a box we had. So again, you can see that this makes an incredibly cool waterfall. It's got a few different looks. You can do a lot of different things with it. But it also includes two of these kind of like cloud dies. Now I use it in a little bit different way. I use it to kind of create that sunset look for behind. And you guys know what I was channeling, right? I hope you guys picked up on this. I definitely was channeling our cute box that we had. So I kind of wanted that cool look of a sunset. So I only use one of the dies. It really doesn't matter which one you pick. But I use the same die over and over, so it kind of really gives that, I don't know, like balanced look. So this is what we're going to be cutting now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors back here. And I just kind of wanted that look where they're all pretty similar. Could you mix up the two different dyes? Absolutely, that would be cool too. So the 4 colors I'm going to use, I kind of went with the, you know, darkest or reddest at the bottom, so that's poppy. And then I did a carrot layer, and then I did their brighter kind of goldish yellow, which is saffron. And then I did the more muted yellow for the last, those kind of look alike on the video, but
They do.
this is our Tuscan. So those are the 4 different sunsets I'm going to do. And because, again, I have these A2 panels, you may want to use smaller strips or smaller pieces than this. I just happen to have the A2 panels, but you're really just going to kind of cut the same little panel each time. And I might be safe and use a little bit of tape this time. And these are cleverly designed by Josie so that they're open-ended. It's not going to give you a cut line at the end. So theoretically, you could line up the 2 dies, the 2 different cloud kind of dies, and I guess I don't need to flip it over. Connect them and have a longer, an even longer one. That'd be cool. So knowing they're not connected, I'm going to have to do a little bit of trimming when I come to add this to my card base. Oh, that took a little paper with it. tape. Not what a little bit of paper tore up there, but that's okay. Not the part I need. So again, I'll kind of clip this one edge and show you. So again, it doesn't cut the end of it, which is good. This is what I want. So I'm just going to repeat this for all of my colors. And it can be more centered, that's too. Again, you saw that I had to trim it, so it doesn't really matter left to right where you go. But if you wanted a more random pattern, like I said, use both dies. Get a little bit different look. It's the saffron. You just want to be a little bit careful when you're cutting that your strip isn't like, I wouldn't cut a super narrow strip because then you might not be able to layer it properly. So I would say if you did like 2 inches, you'd be good as far as depth. Right.
Are you using the shorter or longer?
Oh, let's see. Let's see which one is the longer one. Let's put it on here and compare. I guess it's the shorter. So in your packaging, if you have your packaging up, it's the top one, which, yeah, is a little bit shorter. Yep. So between the two, it's the shorter die. But as long as you're consistent, you absolutely could use the longer one. You just do that many times. It's all good. All right, so I'm going to cut the ends of all of these. This part's not really going to show, but I'm just going to give myself kind of the cloud look for each of these. Okay, who's going to be the one to fess up and say, that is a scrap worth saving? Because I have a funny story. Allison Fraser is one of our kind of newer designers on board in the Spellbinders family. She made the adorable summer camp critters, which I know a lot of you have probably picked up. Again, her name is Allison Fraser. She does really, really good videos. And we're so happy to have her creating for us. But she was at an event with me recently, and she was horrified when I threw scraps this size away. She was literally like, what are you doing? And I'm like, throwing them away? Like, they're pretty tiny. And she's like, oh no, I would totally save something that size. I'm like, okay, how small would you go before you're allowed to throw it away? I was just teasing her the whole weekend. So put your little vote in. Is this keep or throw away? Oh my goodness. All right, folks, so now I'm going to come in. I probably will trim these down. Whoops, get these in the right order. I'm going to go ahead and trim them down to about 2 inches. I told you guys 2 inches, so I'm going to stand by my word. Because obviously when I cut this off, this scrap I definitely would save. The other little one, I don't know.
Oh.
And these could be 2 or 1.5 or whatever.
It is keep.
Keep? Oh my
I gotta
gosh.
say, I did the same, and I finally purged, and it felt so good.
They are kind of precious colors, I have to admit. I mean, we are pretty proud of our color wheel cardstock. But, eek. Now I'm going to feel guilty, you guys, if I throw these away.
See,
I'll put them up there, out of sight, out of mind. All right, so I've got my red bubbles. Obviously, left to right isn't going to matter so much. Put these back in my order. On the very, very farthest back, I have Tuscan. So saffron's going to go on top of that. This is my yellow kind of happening. And they're fairly close together. I'm going to say maybe 1/4 inch. Again, not that super critical, but if you were kind of going by size, I would guess about 1/4 inch. And you can kind of tweak them a little bit this way. I think that's kind of adds a little character. So don't be too fussy about, oh my gosh, they're not perfectly straight. This little red one actually doesn't show a ton, but we'll get him in there. Scoop him over a little bit. I'm gonna put that a little closer, just for funsies. All right, cool. We've got all of our layers together. Actually, I'm not gonna trim it. I'm gonna wait till we kind of go to our card front. So, got rocks done, check. Sunset done, check. Love it, love it, love it. Bring in my other dies here, some of my homework dies. So let's talk water, especially while I have our blending palette out here. Clean this guy. I don't want gray ink on my water, that's for sure. Who else has a sticky mat that looks like this? I kind of like it. It feels very well loved. By the way, this is from our friends at Altenew. Love this sticky mat. Just kind of getting that ready to go. So we've got our pieces of water. This again was kind of part of the homework. And I'm going to adhere a couple of these waters together before I do the inking. So, got your sweet little waterfall. Now I got to make sure it's right side up. So you can kind of see it fits on. It could be an easy mistake to do this upside down, and I guess it really wouldn't be that critical, but if you kind of put your water, streaming water, so the ends kind of match the little flare out, that's the way you can tell that it's right side up. And love our Barely Arts glue. Shout out to Barely Arts glue with this little tiny tip on here. It's fantastic. And I don't know if Josie was over here, she would say, put a little puddle of glue on your thing and dip it in. That works good too. But one thing I love about the Barely Arts glue too is that it really dries quite clear. So if you have a little tiny extra glue, doesn't really matter. Okay, so our white kind of water is streaming on top of our breeze cut out, and we're going to do the same with this guy. This is an interesting die because if you cut it opposite, where you have blue underneath and the white on top, that is a different look. Kind of gets frothy and really cool. You could do blue on blue, like 2 different shades of blue. That would be super cool too. So it's kind of a fun one. And talk about easy. When these parts drop out like this, it's just so easy to create such a great effect. Almost looks like you placed in each individual ripple on its own, but of course you didn't. Josie made it so cleverly that it kind of creates its own little lagoon there.
Lagoon. Another good word.
Love it.
Don't use that word.
Lagoon is a nice word, isn't it?
Yes.
I kind of want to be in a lagoon right now. So these guys I'm going to bring in and ink, and again, this is pretty light inking. I feel pretty confident you could skip this and it wouldn't really matter, but I am going to add just a little bit of kind of a light teal inking on here. That part's not actually going to show at all. Let's flip it over where the part where it's going to show. And I kind of have this die upside down. This part where it's the kind of the fluted edge, that's the top of your waterfall, by the way. I kind of was holding it the other way, but it's okay. Does it make a huge difference? Maybe not, but it kind of mellows these guys out a little bit. I'll do a little bit more across the bottom because that's going to show a little bit more. Top of the waterfall, bottom of the lagoon, and then just a little spritzes on these splashes. Aren't these splashes beautiful? They're very organic. Josie, who designed, which team member designed this die?
I worked with Suzanne on this.
Suzanne.
Yeah.
She's kind of our lead designer. And I am very happy to report that she did an amazing job.
She did. I'm very lucky I have a great team to work with.
You do have a great team. Okay. What do you guys think? Should we start kind of putting these together? I feel like we're just about there. Make sure I have my card. I guess we could assemble some of the flowers. Maybe we'll do that before we start putting this together, but we'll leave our pretties here, keep us inspired. Scooch them over a little bit. And then I'm going to bring this guy in, and I'm just basically going to put the flower centers on. I think that's just something we can kind of do, get it behind us, and then these will be ready to go. So again, using my pickup tool. By the way, I didn't really talk about everything in the pickup tool. Nudger we talked about. This little wax tip, of course, is perfect for picking things up. And then there's tweezers that come with it too. You saw me using those. And then this is the other tool that I think is going to come in handy now. So it's basically a place tool. It kind of looks like a pokey tool, which I guess it could be used for that too. But when you start putting little tiny flower centers like this, and you pick them up with your wax tip, and you put it on, sometimes, yeah, look, like it doesn't, oh, let go now. So, because this tool is separate and not at the end of this, which I think other pickup tools are like that, I'm sure they work fine, but we kind of love that this is separate, so I can have a tool in each hand. And again, even that, hold that in place. So we call it a place, kind of a place tool. I can even push on my die cut a little bit, make sure that it, you know, is perfectly adhered. Hold this guy in place. So just kind of using these tools in tandem really makes my life easier. And again, this is one of those things that, again, Josie has wanted a kind of pickup tool for a long time, but in true Josie fashion, she wanted to make it just different, special, somehow upgraded, somehow even more usable, you know. Had to be that perfect combo of
And fun
great
fact,
tools.
it's hot in Phoenix, and a lot of these tools are made of wax, and not all wax melts
Oh,
at
true.
the same heat point. So yeah, a lot of testing.
So we're still shipping this throughout the summer, are we? Or are we just going to kind of play it by ear, or what?
No, we tested it. It's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, you
we
don't want to
did.
leave it on your dashboard
Right off your
in
car, too.
Phoenix in August. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Otherwise, we're good.
Yeah, we
One
just-
little tip for these flowers too, I have a couple extra centers here, but the flower that's a little more flat, you know, like kind of elongated, does have the same center that's kind of elongated. You know, again, is it really that critical? Maybe not, but it does make it a little bit of a difference. And then the flowers that are more front facing have a little bit more round center. So if you were wondering if there was a difference and if it mattered, well, there's your answer. All right, so got flowers, leaves. I think we should start assembling. Let's do it. All right, so I used foam tape and foam squares on different levels of this. Again, it's optional. Do you have to use them every time? No. But sometimes just having that little dimension brings your card together. Like I mentioned, JC is really going to have the most dimensional card using the waterfall tomorrow, but I'm going to skip around a little bit, but I'm going to put, shall use littler squares. I am going to put my water down at the bottom, and then I'm going to kind of reverse engineer and go to the top, and we'll meet in the middle. How's that sound, guys? So I think I have 2 foam layers tall, finally when we get to the end of this card, but I think it's definitely possible to just have 1 foam layer. That could be an option. Okay, this water is pretty much down at the bottom of my card. And then it should fit on your width of your 4 1/4. Just right. It's almost all the way at the bottom. And then we're going to come in. I'm going to kind of lay my sunset here. I'll bring my actual card back in. I'm just going to kind of lay it. I just want to really make sure that I have enough room for my sentiment in the middle. So I'm feeling like that's probably pretty good right around there. But once I get it on here and I realize that only the few middle inches are going to be showing, I can come in with my shears and trim a little bit. I might even do a little bit of an angle, knowing that the rest of it's going to be kind of tucked behind the rocks. So don't have to be so precise with this, but give yourself a little bit of a room so when we build our rocks going down, they'll cover the edges. But I did pop this up. I think it kind of frames in my sentiment a little bit and allows me to add those rocks on either side. All right, squares, come on. Because I don't particularly have a ruler in here, but I'm looking at my inch measurement here, and it's about an inch down. It could be an inch and a quarter. Doesn't really matter, but kind of gets you there. And then the next piece we're going to place before we start building all of our rocks is our actual kind of like base of our waterfall. So this is already pre-die cut for you. I mean, not die cut, but I mean, it's shaped. The die is shaped. So you can get your kind of your base of your rocks. Probably on the instructions, maybe it goes all the way down. No, I don't think that matters. Because this is going to be covered up with your splashes and stuff. So that part doesn't really matter. And I'm going to glue this guy straight down. Does it touch the bottom? Yeah, I think it touches just a little bit here. That'll keep it nice and level. You could have a little bit less red showing, a little bit more red, kind of whatever. I think it's a little bit more than I did on my original card, but it's a-okay. So now that layer, without actually using foam square, is kind of popped up on its own. Pretty cool. I'm actually going to come and add my water next, just so I can make sure I get this centered before I come back and start adding my rocks on either side. So because your water, I'm going to kind of show this, because your water is coming over the cliff, you kind of want your water high enough that it this point touches, and then this point kind of touches here too. So don't put your water too low. You actually want it to feel like it's cascading over. Does that make sense? Maybe come in a little bit closer, Gavin, and just show, I'll kind of point that out. So again, your die cut kind of like this point should be meeting your rock, and then this one at the top here. So it just looks like it's cascading over. If you do it too low, and maybe, you know, it's not going to give you quite the same look, but a little tip. Okay, so now let's bring in our rocks. So these two kind of gray pieces are going to be what I have chosen to put really, really high. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out here, then we'll come back and glue them. Now the true test will be if I have all the same rocks that I did before. So these two tall skinny ones would kind of be your next layer. Oh no, I switched to this guy. So take that back. One skinny and one chubby. I'm going to go right here, and we'll kind of adjust them later. So skinny, this is the one we have two of. So we've got one there, one there. And then this guy is going to come a little bit lower. It's going to come right down here. Other chubby over here.
Chubby.
I know, chubby, chubby. And then I'm looking, I've got, this one kind of gets covered up. I'm kind of looking. Yeah, I have these layered right here. I have a tiny bit of green showing here. That's okay because we're going to have a leaf come there. So I have 3 rocks on this side. And 3 rocks on this side. And some of them I cut off on the edge, so I just kind of want to get this placed so you guys can kind of look at it and follow along. So 1, 2, 3, and then this guy's got kind of a straight edge, so I can kind of come here. This straight edge can kind of be over here. Does that make sense? These guys, there's a little bit of gaps, but that's okay because we're going to have vines and stuff. And if there's a lot extra, I'll just cut it off, which is what I believe I did with this one. And honestly, there's not a super, super right or wrong way. This one has to go up, by the way. Get it up a little higher. And then our two little flat rocks, we'll put those on last. Let me bring them into the screen here. These two little flat ones, they're going to kind of go right here around our water once we get these guys placed. But again, I wanted these on the edges to be pretty tall. You know, so they go up over the sunset like that. And then these guys will kind of place as we go along. Some are overlapped. Yes, it's A-okay. This one can kind of come over the water a little bit, and this one comes down a little bit here. Are we feeling good about it, guys? What are we thinking? Sort of makes sense? I hope so.
I think it's probably making us a little uncomfortable because we, you know, but the flowers and the leaves are going to come over the top. So
yeah.
just trust, as Reagan would say, trust the process.
Trust the process. These two long ones do have this flat edge, and that really is going to, these two in particular, are going to really frame your card in. There's a few little gaps here. It's all good. Promise. We're going to have leaves covering. All right, so let's start with the very back ones, and I'll just kind of squeak them in. I talked about strips earlier. These little micro strips that we have, I also love to death. They're just so perfect for, you know, cutting in half or popping and using for like skinnier areas. Love them. So let me do this side first. So again, because this is a skinny little area right here, I'm going to put this skinny strip, or you could cut your strip too. And that's going to help balance that right over that sunset. I guess I'll do both sides. One side and then the other. Because we use foam adhesive on the sunset, it's kind of important that you pop this guy up too, otherwise it creates a cave-in, as we say. Let's get those two adhered. And again, if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, Kim, you're going too fast, I don't know where these rocks go. Just remember, you can always come back many times as you want and slow motion me and watch as we go along. You just have to promise that if you pause me, if you're looking at my face, that make sure I have a real goofy expression when you hit the pause button. Alright, so two background rocks. And I'm kind of keeping these guys layered. Again, this one has a flat edge, so it's going to sit on our card really nicely. And we could come back and put a dot of glue under here. I might do that, knowing there's not really any adhesive right now. Actually, I'm going to put this one a tiny bit higher. Yes, right there. So that's going to kind of come into that sunset. Love it. Put a little adhesive here, and then I'm going to put a dab of glue on this guy, because he needs to be nice and stable. I'm going to put him high enough that he kind of covers my little rock there where it comes in. Actually, I think I did that with this. I think this one should go a tiny bit higher, guys. Sorry. Get rid of that adhesive. Good thing I didn't put glue. I'm going to put glue now. Put that a little higher. Just so it creates a great frame. Okay, that little edge I'll trim off. Okay, so we got two rocks. We're going to go for the next two. Put a little foam in the blank area. And honestly, like I said, I didn't really even look at the guide. Oh, stay. So these might be close to the guide, and that might be a little bit off. We don't know. A little bit skinny adhesive here. Because rocks are rocks, right? I mean, They're jumbled. This water has created a lot of friction. They're kind of all over the place. I know there's a little gap here, and probably this adhesive might even show this foam, but this is definitely where I put one of the larger leaves. I had a little gap there. So this rock you don't want too high. Maybe it'll just be covering the top of that. Tiny bit higher. Right there. Okay, and that one, those actually have a little bit of a flat edge there. It's all good. This is the trickiest part, guys. Out of the flowers and vines is going to be like
yeah, they're getting a little lost in the rocks, I say.
Yeah, I kind of would expect that, but just keep in mind there's 2 backers and 3 rocks down each side. If you guys switch your rocks left to right, it doesn't really matter, honestly. I think typically this tall, skinny one, these two that have the flat edges are probably typically straight across from each other, but again, I wanted just a little bit more jumbly, organic feel. So I think those are really fun. So 2 backers, 1, 2, 3 rocks. And we still have our 2 little kind of splashy rocks that are going to go in here. But we're not going to put those quite yet. I'm going to flip my card over and I have a little bit of rocks hanging over here, so I'm just going to trim those away. Do you have to? Probably not, but I think this will go in the mail, so kind of make sure they're
Some of them are a little stressed
nice and clean.
that you hadn't trimmed the rocks. And they said, don't worry, she's going to trim the rocks.
Gonna trim the rocks. See, I trimmed the rocks. So really my only big gap is here. And if you see on my original card, I'll kind of hold it next to it. That's why I have this leaf here, guys. So I have the big leaf there. It's covering up my gap. So I'm going to show you how. But I kind of love the sunset. I kind of love the feel of it. I love that it's happening and the rocks are happening and really fun. So before we put our 2 splashy rocks, though, I want to add some more of the water pieces. And then I think you'll feel like you can kind of see how it's going to come together. So we've got our bigger blue splash. That's going to go on first, and I am going to use a little bit of foam. Another little strip. I wanted these layers to pop a little bit. We do have the foam, the size foam that's not quite this thick. In other words, it's got a little bit more, a little less height to it. That would be really good too. So you want your splashes to cover there. Then before we put the bottom splash, now let's go in and add our other 2 rocks. So you kind of want the pointy ends pointing toward the water. So this is going to kind of cover those 2 gaps right here. I think I had them both tucked under. I'm trying to remember. Let's cut this foam square in half. I think they don't really show, but I guess I'll put it on top of the blue water. Again, not really going to show, but we are going to tuck like a little leaf in here too. My other rock. These 2 kind of play well with the water, so it's just going to kind of cover. Move that one over a little bit more. Just so they're touching the water. It's almost like the water is splashing onto these rocks. I don't think I'm going to pop this layer up. I think this layer is going to kind of sit on these rocks right here, so I think it's going to be able to just be glued down flat. again, this kind of joins all the pieces together, the blue splash, the rocks, kind of pulls everything together. So cute. Okay, so wow, it's looking like a waterfall now. Dun, 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 love it. So cool. Pretty much could stop here while you have a little gap here. But let's add some vines and flowers. I mean, this is what's gonna do that next level, really bring it to life. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the sentiment. We still have to do a little wee bit of stamping, but that'll go fast. All right, so flowers and leaves and vines, again, they just kind of hang out, play with each other. I had you cut 2 of these for homework. Now, you guys can use your own judgment. I kind of feel like maybe I only need 1. But I did use 2. I'll use both. I'm going to kind of overlap them like this. So this is obviously the one that's going to cover our little deficit there. But I'm going to poke this guy up first. How'd you cut 2? Let's just use 2. And again, maybe the vines and the flowers are a tiny bit placed different than they were in my original card. That's cool. That's okay. As long as we cover our hole in the rock. Maybe it's a secret cave back there. Ooh, that'd be cool.
Just got interesting.
Okay, so a lot of these vines right here, so fun. Love these 2 that we cut out with from our truffle. I definitely want one to feel like it's kind of coming out, scooping out over. So I'm going to kind of do this. I'm going to kind of like, see this little hook? I'm going to kind of tuck that in almost like it's creeping out over the edge there. No, it's not creepy like a snake. It's just going to kind of tuck in there. And then I'm going to add a green vine too, but this guy will be a little bit too long, but we'll trim him. Okay, where's my place tool? Like stay in place. There we go. Put a little bit of glue here just so the end doesn't go flying off. And then I kind of wanted a little matching one sort of drifting across here. Maybe even at an angle. And it's going to kind of cross into my water just a little bit. I just want it to feel lively and realistic. And if you guys are still catching up with your rocks, it's okay. There's no really right or wrong way. Okay, so just a couple vines. I only did 2. I thought we'll add this greenery, and that's really going to kind of make things pop. Let's go up to the top. Let's tuck this bigger kind of Monstera leaf. JC was the one that was so good at all his, so good at his botanical names. I think this is a Monstera. Let's tuck this guy in here because it's just so lush in the jungle. Oh my gosh, stay. Stuck to my finger. Very lush in the jungle back there. That's the fern leaf. And then I took this little trio and I kind of put it on the other side, the little trio of Monsteras, which are nicely hooked together. I love that in a die. Doesn't make me work as hard. And that just about hits the top of your card. You can kind of tuck it in there a little bit. Awesome. Let's kind of work. I'll work on this left side first. Actually, let me trim this vine so I don't accidentally rip it off. Okay, let's put one of our kind of sun-loving flowers up here, but he needs a vine to hold him. Hold him in place. Maybe a little leaf too. We'll put a rainforest Monstera on the rock, growing on a rock. And the vine's going to come down from there. I kind of tend to hook my greeneries together. Like if I have a leaf, then the vine will be kind of connected to that. And then to pop it up, not pop it up, but to finish the accent, I'll put one of the sun-loving flowers there. That's a more flatter, wider one. And this next layer we'll put again, and I like the contrast of the fern, like with the rainforest on top of the fern. Very fun. This is kind of going to be tucked in close to the water. And then once in a while you can grab one of these smaller leaves. These guys are great for tucking behind these flowers too. So we'll take a more traditional shaped one. Put a leaf behind it. And again, contrasting the fern with the rainforest cardstock. You could probably put a little tiny foam square there, but the dimension of the cardstock really kind of does some of that work for you too, so it can be up to you if you want that or not. Okay, pickup tool, yes, comes in handy. This one I put the hook at the top. This is our fern one. Again, to kind of feel like it's growing off this vine. And I love that it's just layered right over the rocks. It's really kind of coming to life. You guys love it? And this, I'm going to put the two vine tips together. So they're kind of growing off the same. Is this a symbiotic vine or is this a killer vine that kills other plants around it? Nobody knows. All right, I'm going to put a darker fern curly one on the end too. I actually don't glue the tips in too much. I kind of feel like it's growing off the end of this brown vine. Sometimes I don't glue them down. I kind of let them float a little bit. It's kind of fun.
It's really coming to life, Kim.
It's coming to life. So fun. And again, because we did that die cutting homework, or you did that die cutting homework, I should say, it really kind of comes together easily once you get to this stage. All right, so this little green, this is a little trio too. I'm going to kind of tuck it behind this rock. So it looks like it's, you know, coming out from behind that little splashy rock there. We'll add some more elements on top, but this one, I don't know, that might be an extra. We'll see if we use it. I kind of put this leaf here. Looks like I poke the center out. I feel like there was a little gap situation happening here, which is not a big deal, but I think that's kind of why I put this leaf behind here. So let's just glue that in place. I'm going to twist it so I don't have to trim quite so much off. We'll twist it a little bit. There we go. And I'll trim that extra off. Okay, let's see about a couple more flowers. Oh no, we did use this one. I used this one up here behind these flowers. Let's see, what direction should it go? I want it to look like it's growing down, so let's put this one almost like upside down. This is kind of growing off this line a little bit. Place, poke you down, stay, stay, stay. All right, so this side I put two flowers. I put a round one and a kind of flatter one. Let's add one little leaf to this guy. Right here. There's more at the top. Then these leaves kind of almost act like they belong to this flower. So I'll put that right at the juncture. Right at the bottom of the vine. Ooh, fun, fun. Okay. I have a couple more green vines. Let's just add them in because we got them. We got them. Good proper English. This vine's almost going to be hooking off this brown one. Coming down. It's kind of green on green. Doesn't show quite as much, but adds a little texture. Then this guy, I want to be hanging off this vine. We are going to use them all. Might as well. Again, if it overlaps in my water a little bit, it's okay. In the tropics. Okay, 2 more flowers are going to go down here. Oh my gosh, you guys, we're getting close to being done. We have to do our sentiment still, but... Okay, this guy's kind of popping off this rock right here. It's even overlapping the water a little bit. So cute. Got one more leaf I'm tucking in just for the fun of it. I'm gonna tuck it in there. And these 2 flowers almost overlap each other, which is cute too. Look at that. Empty. We used them all. We used all of our homework. Yay. Oh, extra leaf right here. Okay, I'm tucking it in here. You are going to go right here. Be very happy. I just feel a sigh like, oh my gosh. And does that cover a multitude of kind of oopsies on our rocks or anything that we didn't get that we're totally happy with? You guys, I'm sure yours is so pretty if you're crafting along and following along. And it probably looks a little bit different than mine, and that's even better. So fun. So we're gonna add some little sparkly gems too, but let's bring out our stamp set. So you got in your kit, of course, a stamp with a matching die. Love these so much. I couldn't hardly decide which one to use. But I ended up with You're a Force of Nature. I feel like that pretty much describes the waterfall, right? But of course, you can feel free to change your sentiment to anything you want. I'll grab this guy. You know, for your special occasion, for whoever your recipient is going to be. Now we just save that little green scrap, remember? Let me grab my Misty out here. You go up there for a second. And this is just black ink on green paper, which I don't often do sentiments on colored paper, but I just thought this would be fun. Just give a little bit more tone on tone, because I want the sentiment to stand out, but I don't want it to be, you know, bright white necessarily. So I'm going to pick up my stamp with my Misty. And this guy is good old black. We, of course, love our Hero Arts Intensified Black. It used to be intense, but now it's intensified. How did they make black ink even darker black? I don't know. That's a mystery. Nicole, do you know?
I have no idea. But it is funny how Intensified has taken over.
Yeah, people are
now,
just in love with it.
Intense is, it's okay.
Do we still sell Intense? No.
I think we
Do we?
decided to retire it, but I should know this. These are things I should know.
Maybe there was a little bit still in stock or something. I don't
You know,
know.
I have to
I feel like
check.
most people do love the Intensified.
Yeah, it definitely outsells the other.
I want it to be nice and dark, so I'm stamping it a second time. Especially on the colored paper, I think it needs to have just a good, nice coat of ink. I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly wipe my stamp, because otherwise I forget. I should be a good girl and put it right back in my set.
I did find a random stamp on the Craft Room Misty the other day. And I was
You
like,
probably
where
did.
does this go to?
What is the stamp? I'll put it in one of our storage envelopes, but that'll get me at least that far. Okay, now the matching die. This will be the tricky part. Not too tricky, but. Okay, come on, envelope. Yeah, I do not keep this plastic, I have to admit. I put them in one of our nice storage envelopes or something like that, and they're much easier to grab. Okay, let's see if I can get it fairly close. Guess, 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 guess. Maybe this one? Dun dun dun! Let's see. Oh, she gets it first time. Do I get a prize? I want a prize.
Your prize is you get to make another card. Oh.
Definitely using my best ever craft tape for holding this guy in place. In fact, I do too. By the way, if tape is ever a little bit too sticky, I don't know why that red one stuck. That was weird. Normally it doesn't, but you can kind of dab it off on your skin. Probably getting my head in the camera here. Does that look pretty good? Let me pick it up. That looks pretty good. All right. Sentiment and a couple gems, and we are done with card number 1, guys. Exciting. Well, that just popped right out. That was easy. I need that button. That was easy. Okay, so this is, again, where I love the skinny strips. They're so good for these little sentiments. So Nero, they just fit perfect. And these are our small detail scissors, again, non-stick. Love those too. I can almost hear you guys filling up your carts over there. All right, see, don't they fit nice? I do like a decent amount of foam behind my sentiments so they don't kind of cave in on one side or whatever. I just hate when that happens. Okay, so again, green on green. I really just wanted this to be, I suppose, a little bit quieter, but still be able to pop out. And I think by using the foam adhesive and having a couple of those leaves behind, it works. I love how this just nestles right in here too. So good, so good. All right, so my last thing I wanted to grab, and I have in my container. Where did I put that? My Gemmy Gems. Gems.
Did you find it?
I know I had them. We're all doing the shuffle. Make sure they're not in here. Oh, I had a whole pack. Look at that. Thank you for finding them. Okay, so this is a exclusive pack of gems. The crystal gems up here, we do sell, I can't remember if it's a mixed pack. Maybe it has these and then another shinier gem with it. But we wanted to do this one particularly for you because it's just going to come in handy for all of the cards. Crystal is super fun for this card, and I'll be using the black on my next card. So these guys, I love our bent tweezers, so you can just kind of pick up your gem, slide it to the side a little bit, and then it comes off the backer really well. And I just wanted a little sparkly on my water. You can put less than I do, you can put more than I do. I did want a little sparkle on every layer of the water. So maybe a little tiny one on this very lightest. It used to be white, now it's inked. Oh, ding dong. Come back. And then on the water here and there. Maybe one a little higher. Just so it kind of looks like it's splashing, sprinkling a little bit. So sweet. Tuck one down a little farther. It's hiding under there. Gem placement is a little bit of an art too. Sometimes you gotta kind of get it just right. But you also have a really nice photo in your booklet. You absolutely could just use a photo, and I kind of feel like it's either bubbling up or sprinkling down. I don't know, one of the two. But I think a little bit of sparkle on the water is just a fun little added touch. All right, guys, what do we think? sigh, time to have a big stretch, time to say first card down. So many amazing cards left to go. But again, if you did craft along with me, I'm so proud of you. I think you did a great job. If you're sitting and watching, I'm so proud of you too. And you can just watch and replay and absorb and learn, and then come back when you are ready to get your card all the way accomplished. So fun. And be sure, again, reminder, share your finished projects in the Facebook group. I think we'll have Erin come back at some point and add albums. I don't think we've done that yet. Maybe for each class, and then that's kind of an easy way for our instructors to go back and look at your cute projects, kind of per class. But love it, love it.
They're
All
happy.
right.
They're happy.
So, yay, everybody's happy. So we're going to do a little stretch break here, a little and actually, I still have my headband on. Should we look up here?
You did.
I think I'm going to take it off now. I feel like it's a little And we're going to tidy up here a little bit and get ready for our very next card. And, oh my gosh. Wait a second. What do I have here?
Oh, what is Sarah?
Oh, hello.
Hi. I am
I guess we have a
Doro.
special guest here.
I'm Doro. Doro
Doro.
the Explorer.
Doro the Explorer, okay?
Yes.
Doro, not to be confused with the female
No,
version of
no,
that.
that's my niece. Well, sort of. I've come all the way from Italy.
Hi, Doro. Nice
I've
to
come
meet
from
you.
Italy.
From Italy.
Italy. You know, here to your jungle.
Wow,
This
you're
spell-
an
this
explorer
spell
all the way
minus
from Italy.
See, I'm from Italy.
Nice.
And, you know, I'm here today. I've been searching for a
see
very
your
special,
binoculars.
bird. The enchanted paper caw. Ooh, is also known by a special name, known for its beautiful song that it sings.
Okay.
Okay, its name is Pacaw.
Oh, okay.
Pacaw, you know? So I
Fancy.
want to know, have you seen this special bird?
I feel like I've heard about this bird. I haven't seen this bird. You think that this bird is in our jungle somewhere?
I do think this bird is in your
Oh.
jungle. I want to say to you in the audience here, please, help Doro find the bird. Okay? This
Oh,
bird is
okay.
very special. It has a very special talent, okay?
Okay.
When you catch the bird drops the feather, and the feather, just one feather from the pacaw will help you. It will give you 24 hours of unlimited creativity. Unlimited!
That rings a bell. I think I've heard about this bird.
yes, it's very special.
One
bird.
feather, 24 hours of creative
Yes.
mojo energy.
Yes, you don't even have to go to sleep.
You don't have to sleep.
No, you will just create. You
I
know?
want this bird feather.
I also want the bird feather. I have been searching for this bird for so many years. So many years, Kim.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I came all the way from Italy to the Spellbinders jungle.
Okay, well, I personally feel like I might be a little bit busy crafting, but I do think you have a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe our students can help watch.
Please,
Okay.
audience, I need so much help. I need to catch the bird, okay? I need the feather.
Okay.
I found it once.
Did?
In the days of my youth, Kim. I was but a boy. But a wee boy.
Doro, the little boy.
It came.
That would have been Dorito.
Excuse me.
That's not planned. Okay.
Excuse me. Kim, I cannot touch my face,
I
okay?
cannot look at you. Doro,
so-
sorry, Doro. We will help you. I promise.
Yes.
We'll help you look.
All tonight, all tomorrow, I need
There
to
are
find the
other
bird.
beautiful birds back here. This is not what
No,
you're
these
looking
are
for.
these are ugly birds. I am looking for a special bird.
Oh, okay.
Imagine me, I'm looking for the specialist bird of all.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, I need your help.
All right.
I need your help, audience.
Thank you, Doro.
And Kim, I think you said you will not help that much, but maybe a little.
I'll try, but I am going to be pretty busy crafting.
Okay.
I can't claim I have the magic feather, but
Okay.
you know,
Well,
I'm doing
I
my
hope-
best.
I hope we find it.
Okay.
But listen, everyone. Okay, listen with your big
Listen
ears.
for the call. Okay.
We need to hear the pacaw. If you hear it, you'll know the bird is near.
Okay.
The enchanted paper caw.
Paper caw.
Pacaw. You can call it the pacaw. You can call it pacaw.
Call it the short
P-A-C-A-W.
version. That's the loving version.
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Pacaw. Okay.
That's what I call it because it's from my heart.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Doro.
All right. Well, have
Well,
a
I have
fun
to
with your
finish
next
another
craft.
card, so
Yeah.
good
I'm
luck.
gonna go. I gotta get my beard a little itchy.
You need to shave, you think?
need a
I think
little-
you haven't
I need a
shaved
little
for a couple days. Okay, well, if you guys happen to see the bird, definitely give us a shout out. We'll have to see what happens. All right, card number 1. Good job, folks.
What to say?
Love it. I know we're all kind of speechless. We're kind of like, Okay, I was grabbing my second card and it's right here, so let me grab it. Somehow I hear giggling back there, and now we know what that giggling was about. Oh my goodness. Okay, card number 2 in the booklet. Now I have to.
By the way, Kim, for what it's worth, I don't think the birds in your studio are ugly birds. I think they're very cute birds.
Oh,
They're
these
just
are
not
very
the
cute
most
birds.
specialist.
These are birds from the Amazon.
Good one.
I follow them tonight.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm getting
is
hot
getting
back
late.
here.
It's
Whew.
getting late.
It is getting late here, but
We digress.
we still have enough energy for one more card. Yes?
Yes,
we do.
Without
We
the
do.
feather, we have it. We have
Yes,
the energy.
even without the feather. Okay. We're going to do this fun sheet of card, and it's a lot more simple than the waterfall card. Comes together super easy because the die is amazing, and we've already got a few of the flowers pre-cut, so it's going to be really fun. Few fun tips and techniques to share with you for the background, but otherwise, I think you guys pretty much could get this card on your own. But I'm going to walk you through, and we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, let's take a look at what we've got here. We've got, of course, our cute little jungle cat. We're calling him a cheetah, and I suppose he is a cheetah, but we've kind of named him the generic jungle cat. So depending on what colors you die cut him in and what kind of different effects you do, you could just have a lot of fun with him. The homework already cut kind of the base of the black. So this is the under part of his body, and together we're going to cut the top panels. And my jungle cat is saffron. I've seen it cut in so many colors, and tomorrow I'm going to show you a card that I made where I turned him into a pink cat. So again, there's no right or wrong, right? You can kind of make it your own. We'll just grab this body out here, but the top parts we're going to cut are pretty much 1, 2, so body, extra leg, tail, spots, head. This piece is alabaster, but I think the rest of this gets cut in saffron. Kind of going through all the parts and pieces. Nope, this one gets cut of alabaster too, to get my bearings here. So these 4 pieces are going to be cut from the saffron. Let's start with those guys. I'm being smart about my magnetic sheet now, and I am picking up my sheet out of the craft stacks. That probably makes a little more sense. One more tissue.
Oh, someone said the Pink Panther. Did anyone make that joke
Oh,
yet?
yes.
I don't think we made that joke.
No, the
Good
Pink
one.
Panther that was back in my childhood.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know we got some younger audiences here, but I'm going to kind of tape these guys down so I can not have them wiggle around too much. The body I'm not too worried about, but again, saffron cardstock. The tops of these. I'm kind of scooting my die over a little bit more to the edge. Can you see I'm scooting it to the edge of the platform a little bit? The highest pressure, by the way, in a platinum machine is on the edges. I have not had a problem cutting this die or anything, but if you are doing like a super intricate die that's got a lot of, tiny parts and pieces or pieces that you want to fall out, that's just a tip of the day to kind of put it more on the edge. Like I said, no problem with this one. This guy's flying right out here. One thing I am going to do is bring in my fun little crafty mat. Do we call this crafty mat? I think so.
We did.
Crafty mat. So this is a piece of high density foam. I think I've showed that. I don't show this so often when I do my videos. I need to show it more often. But this is a high density piece of foam. It goes right in the craft stacks that happens to fit. You don't have to put it in there, but it is pretty cool if you add it in there. And this is a great way to not only release all those little parts and pieces from your dies, right here, like I would turn this over and use this here, but also the little parts and chads that are still in your die cut. So I'm going to use it, just kind of demo that a little bit real quick. And
We call it the Handicraft mat.
Handicraft, yes.
The
Not
Kindle-
crafty mat. Handicraft.
Yeah,
Got
and
it,
then
got
the
it,
handy
got it.
toolkit. We just like things handy around
We
here.
like handy things.
Mhm.
I mean, things come in handy and they just do.
They do.
What can you say about it? I got extra legs here. Don't forget the top of his head. Actually, I think I have to cut that. I think I have to cut that again in alabaster. Let's see. Scooch this just a little bit, but I'll just kind of show you. So we use this with the tool-in-one, this handy mat, and then I can just kind of brush across here. See, all those little cuties just drop right out. If you do have one that sticks, of course you can use the other end, but I think they all popped out, so I think that one's good. Oops. Pop them all out of the tail, perfect. Leg, face. And you don't have to scrub super hard. You don't want to scratch your paper or anything, but look at all those little pieces drop out. And then this is great too for just cleaning out your die. That might take a little bit more effort, but look at that. They all come out. And I'll finish that up later. Pretty close. Let me grab this head part just to make sure I don't have to cut that out again. Okay, then we're going to grab alabaster. And I just chose to do my little guy. You could do white, but I chose to do alabaster. I think it's kind of fun. So these are kind of his little chest piece and his little tummy. Let me get the card a little closer. And then the bottom of his little muzzle or little face. This is where I have Josie on standby because I told her, I said, I hope I remember how to put this together. I did put this cheetah together once, but it was so many months ago. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But
Yeah, we had to layer his face so we could get those little fine lines.
yeah, Josie said we have to really get that nice layering on the face just so you can get such a beautiful, delicate face instead of so clunky, you know. That's why we chose to do that.
I know that everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people said the waterfall die is their favorite. This one is my favorite.
Is it? Okay.
I just think it's so cleverly designed. It's just stunning.
It really is. Actually, I'll put this back in a tray with the other cat pieces. Okay, I might have die cut one more, but let's see where we're at here. While I'm sorting this out, Nicole, do you want to talk about your little critter now that we're talking about why this is your favorite?
Yeah, we should.
Let's switch the camera to you just for a second. I'm just
Okay.
going to be cleaning up here, folks.
Okay. Yeah, so the question was, what is the question, Kim? What's something wild you've done? Maybe the
Oh
wildest
yeah,
thing?
we had asked that in the in our for our booklet. I don't think we've asked our audience yet, though, our
Okay.
students. So maybe now's the time, right?
Yeah, so the question is, what's the wildest thing you've ever done? PG, folks. So for my wildest thing, I've done a few wild things. I jumped off a mountain in Switzerland when I was in my 20s, which was super fun. But a few years ago, we bid on an African safari. So we went on an African safari, my husband and I and our older children. Reagan, my daughter, was only 2 at the time, so she stayed back with my mom. And so we did that, and it was so cool. And Gavin, I think, has a photo. This was our last game drive, and this little fella is who we saw.
Oh
on
my
the
gosh.
drive. And we weren't gonna go. We were just gonna sleep in and catch
That
a
looks
flight.
just like our die.
Isn't it cool? It's so cool. And the
Oh my
babies.
gosh.
I mean, our
The
guide
babies.
is a massive. She's into conservation of the cheetah specifically. So there was this baby cheetah, and then Gavin, I think you have the other picture. Just queue up. Okay, so there was all these wildebeests
Wow.
surrounding the cheetah, the baby.
What?
And yeah, and our guide, she's
Oh.
like, listen, I believe in survival of the fittest. She's like, unless you're talking about a baby cheetah, and then I'm going to protect it. So she was like yelling at the wildebeest. I mean, does this not quintessential Africa right here?
Wow.
So we weren't going to do that game drive, and we did it. I'm so glad we did. And then the last photo, which ties to my little friend here, we of course had to bring Reagan back a cheetah. Do you have that photo, Gavin?
He's like, oh, I only have
you
2
don't have the
photos.
photo, Reagan?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Okay, never mind. Well, anyways, on the
You
back.
can tell. Now we'll go back to your face and you can tell the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. On the back of our Christmas card that year, we had all the photos of all of us from Africa, and then we brought this to Reagan, and the back of the Christmas card said, "My whole family went to Africa, and all I got was this cheetah." So, but anyway.
I see. I get
Yeah,
it now.
so it was very cool. Nothing I normally would have done, but it presented itself in a charity auction, and we did it. And it was so cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now I would encourage you guys to share if you've done something wild. It doesn't have to be that wild, but just something
There's
maybe out of the norm or whatever.
There's some
and
wild
that would
things
be
coming
fun.
up here. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I'm looking for my. I don't know if I cut my stripes for my tail now. Okay, this guy's. Nope, that was extra, I think.
We've got a river
I'm going
trip
to
in
shake,
Costa
shake,
Rica.
shake. Oh yeah, I have stripes for my tail. I've got it,
You got
Jess.
'em? Okay.
She's
Let's
right.
fill in
I was
some
just
time.
looking here. I'm like, here's some little tiny black stripes for your tail. Good. So I pre-die cut those. I think that was part of your homework too. So, okay, so you can kind of see how I've tidied up my die cuts a little bit, and then really it's all going to be about layering these pieces, and it's not so complicated. It might look scarier than it actually is, but it should go together pretty quick. I'll just start with the biggest piece, the body. And again, you don't have to be so heavy-handed with the glue, just kind of get her on there. And you can see the black gaps that are here right now. We're going to be adding in that kind of alabaster breast and tummy.
There's some great adventures here people have done.
Oh, I'm so excited. As I'm gluing, you can shout them out. I mean, we'll keep the camera here, but you can give us some little shout outs.
Swam with sharks without a cage in Bora Bora. That was Sherry West.
Ooh.
Someone said they jumped so fast for me here. Swam with stingrays. We're going to see that in a sec. Fed giraffes at a preserve and pet a white rhino.
Pet a white rhino? That's cool.
Pretty cool. I don't know about this one. I went cow riding in Switzerland. Kathy, tell us more.
So the alabaster pieces just pop right in. No tricky trick.
Oh,
yeah,
here it is.
tell us more.
Susan, I ate some termites in Mexico. Tasted minty, fresh. I'm
Wow.
out. I'm out.
I'm not that adventurous.
Remember that show? What was that show? Fear Factor. Oh, God.
People had to eat weird stuff.
Heebie-jeebies.
Ooh. All right, I'm going to put the top on my head. You can keep going if you want.
Whew. I'm getting a little freaked out now.
Look how easy this comes together, guys. Because Josie's designed this so beautifully, and you think you have to sit and like glue a black piece in the ear or whatever. No, it just comes together so easy. I'll just love it. All right. Which goes first, Josie? Should I do the chin? Or should I do
I have to
the
look.
nose? I'd have to grab my other cheek piece out here. Maybe this cheek piece. The cheeks first? Kind of like the
Yes.
skull piece? Okay, let's do that. So the saffron is going to tuck in. I got my advisor here.
Jill said she drove on the 405 in Los Angeles. It's a little wild.
Scary!
That is wild.
Somebody
I
did
think
ask
we
a
should
question.
show, okay, I'm going to pause right here just because we do have a couple minutes here. Look how the bottom of that cheek just starts to bring him to life. So, so cool. I do want to show the, should we bring Spellbinder Squad back in here? Do you want to see if she's here? She can come
Is
back
she,
and...
is she all clear? Is she
Is
all
she-
clean? Did she shave?
Did she shave? Okay, I'm going to put the little kind of nose, alabaster nose in here while we're checking if she's available. Because she has a cool photo I want her to
It's very cool.
talk about. She might come join you over there, Nicole,
Sounds good.
so she can be on the microphone.
Oh, she's with you.
Oh, yeah, come with me.
Hi.
So we're talking about adventures.
Oh,
wanna
you are.
share?
I've done a
I don't
cool, a
think
few
you've
cool
ever
things.
adventured,
but-
have you?
No, never. I've never, traveled anywhere, especially not to Italy. Yes, I had an amazing opportunity a few years ago to go to the Cayman Islands, to Grand Cayman, and I got to take a little swim with some gigantic stingrays. And these are wild stingrays. It's a little freaky to have them bump up against your legs as you're swimming in the water, but it was really fun. And I have a little video to show you guys.
Let's see it.
Kiss.
Don't get seasick when you watch this. What are you doing?
I'm giving him a little smoochie. I just really wanted to like make sure it was intensely smooched, okay? And that's my mom. She's gonna smooch
your
him
mom, so
too.
cute. I haven't seen
So
her.
this was a long time ago. This was in 2014, but we had a really great time. Oh, I had a
Okay, go on in, go on in.
Yeah,
Get the
I
right
just really,
picture.
really wanted to make out with that stingray.
Give her a back massage now. Give her a back massage.
So this was definitely my wildest adventure. Thank you. Oh my goodness, I forgot.
Oh, it goes right up on your back.
I did not love that.
Oh, you're like,
Oh, that's a face! Oh my gosh!
Oh, that's hilarious.
mom is dying.
She did also hold the stingray, but she was not really quite as adventurous about it as I was.
Okay, now it's repeating, I think.
So yeah, that was my wildest moment.
sharing.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
and it was really cool. And then shortly after that, Steve Irwin died from being stung by a stingray. But unfortunately, that was after my trip.
We're not going to talk about
so
that.
Crazy. So crazy.
Yikes. Ooh,
But hey, I survived.
You
I'm
did.
still here.
you did.
You
Good.
did. Very fun.
I'm glad. All right. I realize that the one little piece I think I did lose is the little nose. Josie, if you could grab me just a little scrap of black. When I cut out his head, it's on the same die. You guys can probably see it here. There's his little triangle nose. Maybe the smallest die we have in this whole set. But I'm going to grab him. Okay, so you saw me put the little nose on. Now I'm going to add his little chin piece. What is this? His little cute little fur at the bottom of his chin. That's this little piece. Again, so much great detail. Use my little place tool. Get it lined up just right. Oh my gosh. Again, like Josie said, you're not going to get this really fine line right here without assembling the die this way. Put this on the back of this guy.
And that's all detailed in the assembly guide, right?
Yes.
Yes. So those assembly guides are pretty handy, everybody.
Yeah.
And again, they're on the landing page, the Weekender landing page. You scroll to the bottom, and they're all right there.
Yeah, I thought they were there. I thought I remembered seeing them there.
He comes together very easy.
Yeah, and then so there's the black behind his leg. We'll add that leg when we come to assemble him. But let me cut out an extra little nose since I managed to lose it. Real quick. And then I'll kind of show you a little tip on the background of this card. I just did a couple extra little steps that made it fun. I'm getting to the stage where the desk is getting messy.
Cam, are you going to show the splattering on the card?
I am, yeah. So I ended up getting an extra head because I absolutely lost that teeny, teeny, tiny nose. Yep, I'm going to do the card base next. Let me get his nose on and then we'll circle back to the card base. This is where your pickup tool really comes in handy. And your little place tool. Let me get it lined up. Oh my gosh. He cannot be without his nose.
Oh, it just brings it all together.
So good. All right, I'm going to kind of scooch these to the side a little bit. And then we've got two panels of Oceanside. I think as some of you asked, is that Cosmic Sky? And weirdly enough, it looks kind of more like Cosmic Sky in the video right here. I'm looking at the monitor. But I think you can tell it's a little bit more deeper ocean-y blue. Very cool. This top banner right here, I'm going to trim down. Normally, if I matted, I would cut a 1/4 inch off, meaning I would do 4 by 5 1/4. But I'm going to do a tiny bit more than that. I'm going to do like 1/8 of an inch more. So this will be like 3 7/8. Not a big deal. You could do 4 if you want, or you can just go to the 4 and go just slightly under. So I'll go to my 5 1/4 and then I'll just scooch it in a little bit more. mainly what I'm trying to accomplish here is being able to show a little bit more of that gold splatter, because the only gold splatter on this card is on this very back panel. So when I pop up this panel, you can see it's popped up. Oh, I never took my glue off. This panel is not gold splatter. So I wanted a really heavy gold splatter around the edge. I think it just makes it really rich and fun looking. You can see that pretty gold glimmer back there. So this top piece, we're going to splatter the bigger piece. Now I've got a bigger and a smaller. But this piece I am going to ink a tiny bit. I just wanted it a little bit richer around the edges. So I brought this piece in, and then I grabbed one of the Hero inks that's a little bit darker than the granite we had earlier. This one's charcoal. This is kind of a thing I picked up from Yana, I think. She likes to do the edges of her cards, and it just adds so much like richness or something.
Drama.
And doing either a gray or a black on a dark color is kind of it's the bee's knees, guys. I'll just kind of do this one edge. I'm going to pick it up a little bit just to kind of show you. Like, look how that just adds that nice little shadow. I'm going to go around all 4 edges. This, I think, also helps contrast from that gold splatter panel we're going to do. You'll see when I kind of lay them together. And I do have my big blending brush for this guy. I think you saw me use it for the blue too. These are our large brushes. Spellbinder Squad and I have fondly named them Biggie Fatty Blendy Babies. They're so big and soft. They just apply the ink so easy. Like, I could be here for 20 minutes inking this if I had a small brush, but instead, it only took me about 2. Note to self, clean this off. All right, so they're kind of shadowed. You can see that that blue in the center kind of pops out a little bit. That's going to kind of be where our little jungle cat is. And then to do the gold splatter, I'm going to move my cheetah here. All of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm missing a piece. All right, we'll pause. But this is Yasutomo watercolor. So it's in this actually kind of cool ceramic pan. It's pretty cool. We've sold this on the website for quite a while, and just gives a really lovely gold splatter. So I'm going to bring in that larger panel. This is the one I have not inked. I've got a little bit of water in my matching bowl. And this is a nice big round paintbrush. You could use a smaller one, I'm sure, but I think this is going to give me some really nice gold splatters. So I wet my paintbrush, and then this just kind of activates this pan. I think you can see it right away. Look how it just starts swirling, and it's like yum, yum, yum. And because this is a fairly big brush, it holds quite a bit of water. So kind of let it activate a little bit. I think my pan's starting to get low. You can tell I love this stuff. I'm not sure if we have this on the supply list or not, but it is called Yasutomo. So it's W-A-S-U, Yasu, and then T-O-M-O, Tomo. So you guys will be able to find it. Or you can just look up pale gold watercolor, and it will pop up. All right, good. Another good use for my nudger. I find the best way to get really a nice gold splatter is to knock this on another tool. Now this could be the end of my blending brush, it could be a pencil, it could be anything like that. I'm going right to my paper here, brave. I'm going to kind of start tapping. And you can see that it's kind of a splatter. Now this is definitely fussier than our splatter effects. You saw me use that Raven earlier, so this one you have to kind of mess with it a little bit more, but once you get your consistency right, I feel like it's not too difficult. Again, I'm not really worried about the center of my card because that's all going to be covered. So I just want a nice gold splatter all the way around the edge. If you hit harder, you're going to get bigger splatters like that. That's pretty cool. softer, you get tinier ones. I do like to change directions in the card, otherwise I feel like I kind of get them directional, so I kind of like to. And I almost feel like you kind of can't do too much. If you guys have another gold medium that you like, you know, give it a shout out. But we are very fond. Oh, and this is fun too. Look at that. Look at that beautiful gold swirl.
Don't drink it.
Don't. And then this, I just let dry. This pan will just, the water will evaporate and it'll dry, and then the watercolor will become solid again. But, try to pick this up by the edge here. How pretty, right? It's such a rich, pretty gold. We absolutely love it. I love all the heaviness around the edge. This is going to take a minute to dry, so we'll kind of go back to assembling our cute little cat while this dries. Oh, I got a couple little specks on this piece. That's okay. I had it a little too close, but you can see when we layer this on that it's going to give that nice contrast with the gold. Couple specks on there. Of course I did. All right, so we've got our homework. Oh, my extra little cat face. These guys are my tail. There's just 4 little pieces you put on the tail. Like Josie said, it's 4 pieces. It's not that bad.
You have to have the little stripes at the end.
You gotta have stripes at the end of the tail. Totally agree. And now I'm like, where'd my cat's head go? That's the piece I said a minute ago. I feel like I'm missing something. Come on, this never happens to you guys, does it? No, never. Okay, it's under here, it's under here, it's gotta be close. Like, is it stuck on the bottom of something? Oh, Micah, if that thing's gone. Is that not weird? You checked on the bottom of the sticky mat? Yeah, it's not there. It's not stuck on the bottom of my card. Oh, heavenly days. Did I drag it with my shirt? Let's see.
That's so funny. Is it underneath the card?
No, I just picked up the card. I shook the card. No. Oh God, I know. I said this is my stage where I get to the messy stage. Underneath the die cutting machine. Do you want to just lift that up? It's not stuck to the bottom. All right, can we rewind the film, Gavin? No, I'm just
Go to the
kidding.
tape.
Somebody rewind and see where
Do you
where
want me
my
to cut
little.
you out another face?
That's so crazy, right?
You know it's going to turn up as soon as we end.
As soon as Josie cuts it, it will show up. That is strange.
Right, I'm going to steal the die cut machine.
Because these pieces are here. Wow. That is kind of trippy. Okay, well, I'm going to glue the stripes on the tail. This will take me a second, so you got a few minutes, Josie.
Oh, here it is. No.
No, that's the extra black one. Yeah, I thought that was it, but remember I cut the nose?
Is it under the gold splatter dish, they're asking?
Gold splatter dish.
Either that
Bert?
or
Nope.
the water? No?
You guys are being so helpful. I love you.
Oh my god, this is silly.
Under your water dish?
Crazy.
No?
Water dish? No. I know. I'm like, what did it stick to?
I think
Wait,
Doro
ink?
has
Remember
it.
I used the ink? Doro has it. What if Doro has it? Oh my gosh.
Stuck to his face.
Too much. Okay, well, we will soon have another face. But in the meantime, there's 4 little stripes on the tail. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Someone said you had your sticky mat over the top of your piece.
Yeah, I definitely picked up my sticky mat because I was like, yes, it's got to be here, and it's not on the bottom of my
Oh my
sticky
God,
mat.
it's
Yeah, I
so
do
fun.
feel like then when I lifted it, did it drop somewhere? That's what I'm looking. I mean, obviously it has to be here somewhere. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, I'm going to glue tails on. Nicole's double checking for me.
What the heck?
I know.
I know, it's crazy.
It's like the mystery of the jungle. Maybe the Paka took it.
I think that's what happened.
No, they're supposed to give you Crafty Mojo, not take
Oh,
it.
not take it.
You know it's gonna turn up.
Oh,
as soon
yeah.
as Josie's done.
Okay, I'm looking at my little stripes.
Well, it looked good when you did it, so.
It did look good. Okay. So I got the tail, that's the easy one. This biggest one I think is the piece that goes on the very end. Like the last stripe is the kind of the thickest one. Yes, that feels right. And then you've got two right here that are pretty much identical. They've got a little bit more of a curve to them. Make sure they're right side up. And they'll go right here. Again, kind of placing them in shape. Oh, so cute. So cute. So obviously this leg is going to tuck under, and again, the score lines on here guide you exactly where to place it. Same with the tail. Got that little scored mark. It's going to allow you to place it right there. I'll do that while my little cheetah head's getting recreated.
So funny.
This tail, you don't want it tucked too close to the body, but you kind of want it where it can pop out a little bit. Put glue on these scored areas. I've seen quite a few of you already create with this guy, and I'm so happy about it.
I know, did you see the snow leopards?
Oh, I think I saw a snow leopard. Yeah, that was maybe last weekish.
Yeah.
So cute. I've been kind of wanting to do one, and I'm surprised Yana didn't do it. She probably will do it. She's really in love with our brushed black paper, but maybe a black on black, like a shiny black with a brushed black, or a shiny black and a matte black. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be really cool.
That'd be so awesome.
That's like Jaguar style, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jaguar?
kind of like Jaguar, yeah.
Or Jaguar. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know, I don't know either. That's one I don't know. All right, we have some little black centers too that were part of the homework. I'm gonna layer this little flower. It's almost like a little trumpety flower. I feel like I might have lost a flower too. I did. Getting wild around here. I'm telling you, it's wild. I need one more top once you get that far, Jose. So again, there's round flower centers and there's more elongated ones. So round center goes on round flower.
There's your little face.
Oh, thank you.
Alright, so what do you need?
Just one of these tops right here, one of the flatter tops. I think the die is right here. Out of Tutu. Tutu.
I'll be back.
Yay. Okay, so flower center, round, goes on this guy. I just have two of each. I have two round and two kind of more drapey ones. Josie's cutting me the second flower. I know that was here because Amy helped me with the homework and I know I had it, but look at his little face. So cute. And I'm waiting for the other one to pop up now that this one's
I know, we're
done.
gonna find it.
I also thought it was really sweet how people kind of angled his little head, like a little tilt, a little, you know, oh, it was so much personality. And this is not pop dotted or anything, just the dimension of the cardstock itself makes it so cute. Oh yeah, it was Tutu.
I'll be back again.
One more Tutu. All right, so I'm gonna put this guy over here. I am gonna add gems for his eyes though. Don't let me forget that part, guys.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna
Add
add
gems
gems
for
in
his
his little
eyes?
eyes.
Ooh.
Yes, so
I
cool.
missed that on the first part.
I know it's kind of hard to see in the video. So when sorry, photo. All right, glue. Actually, I don't know why I'm not using tape runner for this. I'm gonna switch to tape runner. I'm just putting this speckled background on my card base. It's dry now.
Do you need a black center?
No, I got the black center. I just was missing this little flower. All right. Sometimes I like to kind of hold these up and line them up. Ooh. I mean, honestly, you could just skip the top layer and put your cheetah right on here, and he'd probably be so fantastic too. Look how cute.
That's cool.
Okay, I guess I'll follow along my original. Look, it covers up all my gold. I'm gonna cut this a little smaller. I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna go 3 3/4. Someone else say that's the measurement you had on your instructions, Kim. Duh. 3 3/4 by 5. I just trimmed it a little smaller. I want more of my gold to show. Yes, that's better. Yes. Okay, more strippy dies. Let's see if I have the bigger ones. Oh, mostly smaller ones. I did pop this up. I did want that extra dimension, so I'm not sad. I'm sticking with my original. Although it covers up some of my gold splatter. It's all good.
They keep saying, go wild, Kim.
Go wild.
You go wild. Actually, we didn't talk about your wild.
Oh yeah,
Your
my
wild
wild thing. Yeah, we'll have to pop up my photo. I'm kind of like you, Nicole. I've done a few wild things. We went on a cruise once, and we had an opportunity to go zip lining.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I couldn't find the picture of that. I think it's older than what's in my Google photos right now. It was quite a while ago. But recently, about, gosh, it's going on 1.5 years now, Deb and I and our husbands went to Italy. And it was mostly, your basic tourist stuff. But one afternoon, we did take a charter boat. Like, it wasn't just us. It was the 4 of us plus 2 other couples. There's 8 of us on this boat. And we took a lovely trip around the end of kind of from Positano around the Amalfi Coast.
Mm-hmm. That's what it looked like in that photo. I was like, is that Amalfi Coast?
Yeah, it was. And then the boat just threw the anchor down, and everybody was allowed to swim, just basically, not so far from shore, but it was far enough from shore that I wouldn't really swim to shore. So it was kind of adventurous that we just jumped in right off the boat. And I think people were kind of a little bit like, whoa, like we didn't have life jackets on or anything. We grew up in Arizona with swimming pool and swam our whole lives, meaning myself and my cousin Deb and our husbands. And never really thought twice about if it was going to be nerve-wracking or anything. We just slipped right off the end of the boat and went ding-dong-doong and swam around in the ocean. And the guys had snorkeling masks, and they were diving down and snorkeling and everything. And people were just like, as they kind of slowly clambered in with like pool noodles and life jackets and stuff, like, oh, there we are. We just kind of blurped in. Oh, Deb has the goggles on too for kind of checking out stuff. But amazing water, amazing adventure. That day was awesome. And guys, this is end of September in Italy. It was so hot the whole time we were there. Any chance we get, we're like, boom, in the water. And another day we had hiked down to a beach and swam and stuff. Maybe it felt like it could have been off season for locals or whatever, but we were like, nope, it's plenty hot enough to jump in there.
So no life jackets.
There's our little picture. There's me like without glasses. I look weird. And then that's Deb's husband in the back there. Keith must have been taking the picture, my husband. But so that was our fun adventure. It was pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, so we are getting close to this guy. I'm going to attach my cheetah to my card. I am going to use a little bit of foam adhesive, and then I'll show you what I was talking about with adding the little eyes, the little gems. Just makes it really
I do
cute.
like the cock of his head. It's like he's like,
I know.
he's like,
curious.
I don't even know. Yeah, like, hello, who are you?
Who are you and why are you here on this safari? It's smaller than that. I didn't really talk about this black piece on the die. I know some of you had figured it out before we did. I think that die was manufactured backwards, but it doesn't matter for being a backer piece. You absolutely cannot tell once it gets on there, but We try to be diligent checking our die files, but doggone if something doesn't come in. Usually we catch it in the prototype stage. Something comes in and it's backwards.
This one was missing a leg.
This one originally was missing a leg. It
It was
was.
missing the third.
This whole leg right
Yeah.
here was left off the very first run of the prototype. It's like, well, we got a 3-legged.
And none of us noticed.
We'll name this cheetah Tripod.
But we caught it.
Yes. Ba-ding. Okay.
You guys output a lot of designs. It's
We do.
bound to
We
happen.
do. All right, so I'm justifying this cat a little bit over to the right because when the flowers kind of fill in here and then the sentiment just kind of makes him fit on the card a little bit better. He could, I suppose, be a little bit more centered or whatever, but I'm going to go ahead and add his eyes right now since I've been chatting about it.
I know, the gems make his eyes.
Yes. So you've got this black part of your gem pack with a little black and the very smallest, tiniest gems are what I used. It's like, come on, tweezers. And then they just go pretty much black on black right in the eye sockets. Oh my gosh, come on. I need that place tool, right? And get him in the right spot. So close, so close. Okay, this wasn't this hard the first time I did it. Oh my gosh, it keeps sticking on the adhesive.
Ooh, cool.
Yes, there we go. Good. There, stay. Yes. I'll hold it up so it can sparkle and you can see. And look at that one, dropped right in, of course.
Oh, somebody said they added a drop of diamond glaze. And on the nose.
So if I kind of do a little sparkle there, look at that, you guys.
So cool.
Really makes him come to life. He's got that little sparkle in his eye.
That's cool.
Love it. Okay. That's the only gems I put on here. Didn't have any other ones. All good. All right, so then our greenery, you guys can really just have fun with this. You can kind of copy along the card project if you want. I feel like, of course, my pins are gone from my glue. So I
They're with
don't
the-
put them back in. I got to make sure.
They're somewhere with the head.
Okay, guys, the head hasn't showed up yet. I'm serious. It's going to happen, I think, sooner or
It's
later.
got to be on the floor.
I kind of looked on the floor, but unless it bounced.
We'll find it tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with some of these bigger Monstera leaves. I want to kind of get these two in place first. Actually, no. Take that back. I'm going to do my two little ferny branches because these leaves will go on top. So let's get these two in place. These are the very, very back layer. That looks good. And again, you don't need a ton of adhesive. I kind of like if they're a little like flippy. Kind of let them move a little bit. This one I want a little higher. And I like the idea of these coming off the edge of this popped up panel. Because again, I think that gives a little more depth, a little more motion. Pretty cool. Then we can layer the lighter peridot leaf. And the rainforest. Cut this foam square a tiny bit down. I don't want it to show. Kind of have that one angled there, so it kind of makes a little, what we call in the biz, cluster. This one I'm going to pop up just the tip of it. That's going to kind of hold this in place. Because I'll put a flower right on top. So this is kind of the more leafy one. And that one's going to go about here. Now our vines, before I put my flowers in, I'll kind of tuck our little vines in. So these are going to just get scattered around. How are we doing on time? I haven't even paid attention.
It's 8:50.
Kind of, oh, okay. Getting close to closing time. Pretty good, though. This one I actually might cut. So this is that same vine I'm going to put over here, but I might cut it just a little bit at the top. I don't want it quite as long, because I don't want it to touch his face. I'll just kind of go next to it there. And again, having the glue dry clear is always a bonus. I actually think this one might have been the lighter green, but it's all good. All right, kind of fun, kind of leafy, it's happening. I'm going to put a foam square behind one of the round flowers. It should not show, I don't think, no. And I'll kind of pop this right at this juncture of these two leaves. And then this guy's gonna, actually I will put a foam square on the end here. This guy's almost going to be like trumpeting out of that flower. I like that they're hanging down. I feel like it's kind of how they're meant to be. Either way, keep pointing up, pointing down. I like the contrast of this kind of tutu and dahlia color. And this feels like it's coming out from behind that leaf. And another round one. Cover up that foam square. Oh my gosh, so fun. Are we there? I think we're there. I feel like we're there. Just need a sentiment. Do that quickly. What is your preferred sentiment? Do you guys like the one I have? Would you pick a different one? I kind of like mine. Life's a Jungle. That would be really cool. I like this one. It feels like a good everyday sentiment. But it also, size-wise, fits there really good. So now you know the real reason I picked it. No. Okay, where's my scrap of white? Oh, here it is. Underneath. It's just a classic white. In that same black ink. Now I have to check under here. Is there a cheetah head? No.
No, I
No,
looked
that's a
under
piece
there.
of tape. You looked under there already?
I did.
I didn't even have it out really, but no, it pays to look. That is funny.
He's gonna be on your shirt.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably
In your bra.
down my bra, no
That's happened
doubt.
before.
Oh my gosh.
I go home with gems everywhere.
And for sure the sticky back of the adhesive, right?
Always.
That's a classic.
The static electricity makes them stick everywhere.
Especially here in Arizona, right? It's so dry. It gets staticky easy.
I found one.
Pretty
on the
good
dog-
once, but I'm gonna stamp it.
I found
one
one on the
more time.
dog's face the other day, actually.
On the dog's face?
Yeah, I was making graduation cards, and I looked down, and Benny had one in his face. Yeah. So it happens.
Oh my goodness. All right, Jills, I might end up flipping this over to you because I think you have a die cutting machine over yonder. Let's see, which one is it?
I'll find it.
Oh, you'll find it? Thank you.
I'm here for you, Kim.
Yay. All right, like I said, we've got quite the mess going on here, but I feel like it's not totally out of control.
Steal some tape off of here.
All right. Okay, did everyone show their adventure photos? I feel like it. So we shared all of those. Did we check them all off the list? Miss Nicole?
I think so. Amy had a hiking one. I don't know if we got to show that one.
Oh yeah, I don't think we showed that one. Should we show that real quick? Oh, and Gavin's. No, we have two more. Okay, let's flip to a couple more photos while we're getting that sentiment cut. Gavin, why don't you show yours first? Do you want to?
Gavin the drummer.
Gavin the drummer. I know. I don't think he has a microphone back there, but this is in Los Angeles. Yes.
About 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago.
That's me on
This
the
is
left.
pretty wild.
Hollywood.
It's in Hollywood, and it's you and your band. What was the name of it?
We're called Absolute Threshold.
Absolute threshold. All right. Well,
Rock on, Gavin.
rock on.
Yeah, he
And
is.
can you guys tell which one's Gavin? With the beanie and the turquoise diamond? Yes. Love it, love it, love it.
And here's Amy.
Cool. Okay, here's Amy. Yes. So Amy's kind of our newer helper. She's been helping us out since Deb has retired. I don't know if I've told you guys all that Deb is retired. Those of you who know Deb. Amazing, amazing helper. So this is Amy and her husband hiking. She goes, this is what I do for adventure. We're like, dude, that's awesome. And we were cracking up. So I have to tell you, she took a picture of this from her scrapbook album. And we're cracking up because like, wow, what's the line? Did you like cut you and your husband apart and then glue them back together? We're teasing her. But it might even be the page protector that we're seeing right there.
I
But
bet it is.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I've tried to take pictures out of my scrapbook and I just never. So this actually looks pretty good out of a scrapbook.
All right, let's go back and finish up this card, and then we're gonna do some final announcements and some fun things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple pieces of adhesive here. Guys, we have such a fun full day tomorrow too that we are just getting started. Thanks so much for those of you who are staying up late, wherever you are. I know that time zones aren't always in our favor, but okay, so I'm a little bit tucking this under the flower, but does this not fit in here just perfect?
Nina L said she
I'll make
teaches
it-
first grade. That is an adventure every day.
Yes,
bet.
true.
I bet.
I'm gonna pull the two in that I actually made today, and we'll kind of take a pause there. But we'll come back to me and we'll close out. But maybe we'll flip it over to Nicole for a second, and she can tell us, remind us of the show special, and
Yep.
remind me especially about that cart situation where you have to put the coupon.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. So what we've learned tonight is there's been a few things. People were going back and using the old Weekender 26 code that you've had for the last several weeks. You got to just use the straight Weekender code, and you put it in like before you click to checkout. So like you add things to your cart, you go to your cart, you put it in there, then you go to checkout.
There's like a
Makes
box
sense.
down
There's like a
lower
discount
type of
box.
thing.
Yes.
Got it.
And if you're not getting the full, because some people are like, oh, it gives me 20% off, but it doesn't give me the free
Free
shipping
shipping.
over 50. A, make sure that you're actually over 50 after tax and shipping. B, make sure it's all in Spellbinders or Hero Arts product, because sometimes if you throw like a 2 product in there or a Yasutomo product in there, whatever, those don't count. It has to be our brands.
Got it.
And if you still are struggling with it, log out, refresh, log back in, and that seems to have cleared things. So, because I think some people maybe started carts before the show, and then you're going and adding to it, and that kind of tends to. I'm not
Okay.
good with technology, but this is what I'm learning. Also, we did get one set up on the UK site as well. So
Oh, good.
same rules apply on UK. So, all that
Okay.
said, I think we got most things worked out for the show special, and then of course we'll be back here in the morning.
Oh! Did we just? I don't know. I did. What? Ooh.
Was that had to be? Is that?
I think that was. Yep. I think
Where's Doro?
I think I'm thinking what you're thinking.
I am thinking what you're thinking. We've worked together for a long time, Kim, and this one's pretty obvious.
That was good.
Okay.
That was
Oh my
good.
gosh, I've got tingles
But now it's gone. Now it's.
Well, I wonder where Doro is. As soon as you lose.
Hmm.
Anyways, so we're back here tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, y'all. So, but again, I know that for many of you it's super late, super early, but know that you can rewatch and rewatch and rewatch to your heart's content. So don't feel stressed to have to create in the moment. So, what else, Cam? What other housekeeping?
Exactly. I don't. Maybe we'll just pop the schedule up just for fun one more time, because I know we just said it's 8 a.m. Pacific, but if we pop it up, I think you can see a little bit like, oh, this is Saturday one, perfect. So again, I kind of said earlier, Yana's class is first. We will have these little breaks in between. The breaks might be a little loosey-goosey for 5 minutes going into them, but we will always start on time. So in other words, we'll start at 10:30. We'll make sure you're on time for Sarah's class, even if the break is 25 minutes instead of 30. So we'll worry about that tomorrow. But you see the class times for Yana, Sarah, JC, Nicole, and ending the day with Jennifer. So very full day tomorrow. Very exciting. Super, super fun. So yes, I think that we'll just say thank you to everyone for participating. I do want to give a little shout out to Gavin back there one more time. Thank you for making us always look good, as always, on video. Thanks to you, Nicole.
Of course.
For moderating.
Very fun.
I think Spellbinder Squad might be in your chair for a little bit in the morning. We'll
I think
see.
she will. Yep.
We're going to, again, switch off, keep everybody fresh and ready to go. But again, thank you for participating in the Weekender virtual event. We really appreciate you. We know that you are our super fans, and we try to deliver and give you lots of fun and lots of inspiration. So happy crafting, happy working on homework if you're still doing that, or happy just watching the videos and being entertained. Have a great night, and we'll see you in the morning.